Oh, I can't heal it in here? I don't know that. Okay, I'm gonna watch some Dr. Bob. I'm not spawned. Get that TikTok ad out of here, please. Okay, Dr. Bob time. Please. Actually, I might subscribe to Dr. Bob. He's so good at people.
Back at his room, he puts his room key into the door. The lock flashes red. He tries the key again, and once more it flashes red. He tries the key a third time, and as he does so, the door opens. He looks up to see a large man standing in front of him. "Do you need something?" The businessman is confused. "What are you doing in my room?" he asks. "Your room," the large man responds. "Yeah, room 237. The large man looks annoyed. He shoves past the businessman and points across the hall. The businessman follows his finger's direction to see that he's pointing at another door, one that has the number 237 next to it on the wall. The businessman looks at the number next to the door he's been trying to unlock, 239. The businessman laughs nervously at his mistake as the large man pushes past him again and closes the door behind him. Back in his room, the businessman can finally sit down and pour himself a drink. He takes 2 ice cubes from the bucket and drops them in his glass before taking a long sip. Ah. He turns on the TV, but after watching for a few minutes, he finds that he's having a hard time concentrating. Whatever this show is, it moves too fast and he can't keep track of what's happening. He turns off the TV and picks up a book instead. Maybe some reading will help him to relax and get his bearings. He still feels really off. He opens the book, but gets confused. Is this the same book he bought in the airport? It looks like it's written in a foreign language. It's just a bunch of squiggles. He tosses the book on the table and yawns. It's not that late, but he's gets up, takes off his shoes, and lies down on the bed without bothering to undress.
Okay.
He's too tired for that. He mumbles to himself for a moment, half awake, talking about how he needs to return that foreign book when he goes back to the airport. What were they trying to do, selling him something he can't even read? He continues to mumble about the things he'll do to the cashier who sold him the book for a while until he finally drifts off to sleep. His eyes open. It's dark. He must have been sleeping for a while. The room is cold, too. He goes to pull the blankets up over him, but immediately realizes that he can't move. Try as he might, his body won't respond. Not a single muscle. Only his eyes seem to work. He's completely paralyzed. He can't even yell for help. What happened? And what is he going to do? Did he have a stroke?
Again?
Is he dying? As his mind races through all the different possibilities,
No.
he suddenly sees
That's
something.
something else.
From his bed in the dark room, he can just barely make out the door to his hotel room, and he is terrified by what he can see coming through it. A figure has appeared in the door, literally in the door, as if it is phasing through the solid wood. The man is scared to death as the thing fully enters his room and turns to look right at him. The man wants to scream, but his mouth is still completely
looks like
numb.
me. Look, I'm
The
kind
figure
of
starts
wild right
crawling
now.
towards him. He can see now that it's small, smooth, and completely white. He fights as hard as he can, willing his body to move, but nothing happens. He can't so much as
And I'm
whisper.
pretty hungry.
The thing climbs up onto the bed and sits down right on his chest. He prays that he is dreaming, telling himself to wake up over and over again as the creature leans his face in close to his. It seems as if it is somehow looking at him with its smooth, eyeless sockets. It tilts its head slightly to the side, and...
Oh, I didn't know it can make Popeyes.
Popeye's $6 big box is back, y'all. Big news packed with
I've
bold
never
Louisiana
actually
flavor.
tried Popeyes, I'm pretty sure. Oh, hello, whoever was watching. I'm watching Dr. Bob. I'm just waiting for someone to join. Join Code Clan. And then I will stop watching Dr. Bob. Dr. Bob's so good of a YouTuber. This is Dr. Bob. Live chat. Let's see if you're in the chat. Yo. Hi. I have seen this guy. Oh, what was your name? I remember. Have I seen you before? I don't know if I've seen this guy before. And I'm from the Backrooms one. Oh, the backrooms one. Oh. I'm. Oh. Do you got Eeps? The backrooms one. If you got Yeeps, just join me and then I probably won't know who you all. I know I've seen this. I remember you was in my last live stream. It was with Cameo. I can't play. It's 2 a.m. for me. With Cameo. Oh. Wait. I can't. Wait, let me still check the name on YouTube. What's this? Okay, there we go. Your YouTube channel, because I got nothing else. What's your name? I was the grandpa. The grandpa, huh? Check us for the street. I'm just going to check your name very quickly. I'll check it anyways. Like, doesn't matter stuff. Audio. I'll check your last stream. Okay. Wait, let me. Which one? This one? The space update? Because I got the space update. That was the other one. I got me. I forgot. The one called my. The one that is my first live. Oh yeah, now I remember you. Yeah, I remember now. I remember. Yeah. Now I remember you. Okay, yeah. It's 2 a.m. It's like, let's check what time it is. It's 3:34 for me. Let's check my shoulder figure. Bob. 18 views. That seems pretty good. Hello guys. Please join Code Clan. I'm doing a live stream right now. Maybe. I might be, but if I'm not making a live stream anymore, please still join it, because after my live stream, I'm still going to play Code Clan. CLAN. Please. Okay, yeah. Oh, I still don't get why you can't join, or like, is you view, like, you don't want to make any noise? That's what it seems like. I'm super. Oh. 21 subscribers. You make Roblox videos? Let's check all your shorts out. What the Sigma? What the Sigma? What the Sigma? Sub to me, him, right now, so he gets 100. Sub to who? Let me see. Which video should we check out? The 8-second one? Right at 3 weeks ago? top 3. I'm going to keep watching Dr. Bob. I like Dr. Bob. He's Dr. Bob. Let me put live stream right there. Dr. Bob right here.
Turn after turn. Era after
era.
And they're off. Here he comes around the...
He can't so much as whisper. The thing climbs up onto the bed and sits down right on his chest. He prays that he is dreaming, telling himself to wake up over and over again as the creature leans his face in close to his. It seems
might
as
go
if it
grab
is
some
somehow
food.
looking at him with its smooth,
Probably gonna
eyeless
take a while
sockets.
until I get
It tilts its head
another
slightly to
watcher.
the side and...
Dr. Bob is...
Welcome. I'm Dr. Bob, and we couldn't be happier that you've decided to stay with us as we delve into SCP-5172, an extremely
You should really
dangerous anomaly.
subscribe to Dr. Bob. I should subscribe to Dr. Bob. Dr. Bob, I'm now subscribed. Thank you, Dr. Bob, for making so good videos.
That is known by the extremely non-threatening name of North American Hotel Ice Machines. SCP-5172 is a phenomenon that only affects guests staying at hotels located on the North American continent. It is unknown how or what causes these guests to become affected, but those that are will begin to notice something. Ice machines in the hallway of the hotel they are staying in. Now you might think this sounds perfectly normal. After all, don't most hotels have ice machines? If you just had this thought, then I have some bad news for you, because there is a high probability that you too may have been affected by SCP-5172.
Okay.
You see, ice machines are actually extremely uncommon in hotels, and it is likely that you have
What's
never
that
actually
button?
seen one, or at least not a real one. Allow me to explain. In the 1950s, the founder of the
I'm just
Holiday
gonna keep
Inn chain of
watching
hotels,
this. I might go
Ken
grab
and
some
Williams,
food.
had an idea that he thought would set his hotel apart and attract customers, which was to offer more perks and amenities than his competitors. For example, he implemented a new policy where children would be allowed to stay for free, something most hotels charged extra for. Hotels at the time also had a policy of making their guests pay for ice, but Williams decided to change that by installing ice machines in his hotels. Sadly, the marketing stunt didn't work. The cost of the machines wasn't made up for in new customers, and the plan was discontinued by the mid-1960s. The vast majority of the machines were removed, with the rest being pulled from the hotels as they would break down, since they were no longer worth the expense of maintaining.
Who's my
Despite the
top
fact that they
fan?
only
Let's
existed in
check.
hotels for a brief period of time, there is
It
still a
doesn't
widely
say
held
anybody
belief among
has
the public
sent
that
a
ice machines
message.
can be found in nearly every
I
hotel.
gotta take
In a poll of the general population conducted by the Foundation,
Ugh.
over 80% of adults claim to have memories of seeing an ice machine in a hotel, a number that is quite literally impossible. Just where this mass delusion came from, or why it persists, is currently unknown, but it's theorized to be related to the SCP-5172 phenomenon in some way.
Clan,
the
what
SCP
about
Foundation
Clan?
first became aware of SCP-5172 in 1973 after a series of
I
unsolved
can just
murders occurred at
remove-
hotels in Winnipeg,
Yeah,
Manitoba,
let's
Canada.
remove.
Foundation investigators soon discovered the prevalence of false ice machine memories
which one
and
should I
installed a number of
remove?
hidden cameras around the
Oh, I don't
hotels in
know.
both their public spaces as well as in the
Yo,
rooms
I'm gonna
themselves.
move.
It was after viewing the footage captured by
It's-
these cameras that the Foundation finally got their first look at just
yeah, I
what
don't like
happens
that. I'm
during an occurrence
moving.
of SCP-5172,
Yeah, bye-bye message.
which has been dubbed a Zalmunna event.
What about Clan? Why
The
did you just
Zalmunna
say
event.
Clan? I'm in Code Clan. I can show you the map. I come right down here because of VIP. If I die, and that's I forgot about the glitch. How do I break these open? Oh, Coco does. Oh yeah. Also, if you ever join Code Clan and there's people in, use this. Use Daggle and Freeze Bomb. Perfect. I might actually do an update. I might actually will just search it up. Clan? Like clan? Or the person? Which one I get? Let me just search up. Okay, I got you. I'm just going to search it around here. 3. What? It's my clan. Oh, okay. What? Yes. Underscore. O I VAVAL. Is this one new? Is this one new? Yes? Pretty good. Pretty good. Why is that Google Gaga guy on screen? You have 27. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, yeah, that is 27. With 52. Let's see these snipes. Let's see this snipe. Yeah. Not that tough, boss. Won't see every tough. It's the same kid! The same kid! Not the same kid. Not the same kid. Not the same kid. That's those two same. What the skibbity? Are you lying to me right now? Why are you just going against one kid? Okay, that's a different kid. That's the same kid. Nah. At least he's good at editing. That's the only good thing, I guess. Okay. One of many. Oh, okay. Oh no! Okay.
Of false ice machine memories.
I will come back.
Cameras
Just
around
like
the hotels
wait
in both
right
their
here.
public spaces as well as in the rooms themselves. It was after viewing the footage captured by these cameras that the Foundation finally got their first look at just what happens during an occurrence of SCP-5172, which has been dubbed a Zalmunna event. The Zalmunna event is triggered whenever a guest at the hotel sees and then uses an ice machine. The moment they use the ice machine, the event cannot be stopped unless certain actions are taken, but more on that later. The targeted individual who used the ice machine will immediately begin to have the sense that they are being watched. This usually comes in the form of an unknown individual who appears to be looking at them from the end of the hall where the ice machine is located. Third-party observers are unable to see the person who is supposedly watching the target, nor do they appear on any recording devices, visual or otherwise. The targets have described the watchers in various ways, leading the Foundation to believe that they may actually be nothing more than hallucinations. Shortly after,
still got a while.
the targeted individual will begin to experience feelings of confusion and fatigue, not dissimilar to the
what should I
symptoms
eat?
of early-stage
I
dementia.
got
The
Doritos,
longer it takes the target to
nacho
return to their
cheese,
hotel
or
room, the more pronounced these
oh,
feelings
should
will
I
become. And they will soon have
cool
issues
ranch?
completing
Which one
everyday
should I-
tasks and will experience
Oh.
short-term memory loss.
I literally just had an ad. What?
Question. How old were you when you got your first social media account? Some people are just now learning about lawsuits involving.
Despite these feelings of fatigue and disorientation, targets report that their mind feels too active to fall asleep, anywhere other than a hotel room bed, that is. This feeling will usually cause the target to seek out their own hotel room, though they may have difficulty finding it due to their confused state.
Never.
They don't need to sleep in their own room for the next stage of the Zalmunna event to be triggered, though. Sleeping
What
in
should
any
I
hotel
eat?
room will do.
Name something and I will make it. Oh, I do. Oh.
Once the target lies down in a hotel room bed, they
Can
will
you just name
immediately
any
enter
food?
the hypnagogic
And I'll
state,
search it up
which is
if I
the
don't know
confusing and
that
dreamlike state that one
got
experiences
ramen.
in
I
between
can make
full
any
sleep
type.
and waking.
Can
The
you make
temperature of the room will
egg
begin to lower
taco?
during this period as well,
Egg
until it reaches
taco? Is that
approximately
just an
11
egg
degrees
with a
Celsius,
taco?
or 51.8 degrees Fahrenheit. After about an hour, the target will enter a state of deep sleep, at which point SCP-5172-1 will finally make its appearance. The humanoid-like entity is quite diminutive in size, standing just 4 feet tall and appearing to weigh a little over 60 pounds. Its arms are twice as long as normal humans, though, and the top of its head is enlarged as well.
That's what I thought.
Though it is not visible to observers present in the room,
taco.
cameras are
I
able
don't
to
know
record
if
the
we
creature.
have any eggs right now, but
After phasing through the door of the hotel room, the 5172-1 entity will begin crawling towards the sleeping person, who will wake up to find that they are in a state of sleep paralysis. The entity will climb up onto the bed and sit on the person's chest. It will move its smooth-skinned face close to the target's before opening its mouth, revealing a long, thin, proboscis-like appendage that it inserts into the target's eye socket.
cheese,
It's long been
bacon.
theorized that it may be administering some type of paralytic or
seems pretty
anesthesia
easy.
directly into the brain, so that it can then engage in the next stage of the Zalmunna event, harvesting. The 5172-1 entity's chest then opens to reveal a pair of tools. It will take the tools
You got
out of
anything
its
else
chest
I should-
and use them to begin extracting 4-centimeter cubes directly from the target's body. Flesh, muscle, organs, and even bone will all be cut and scooped out with the same ease,
You got anything else?
which it then places inside of its own chest cavity. While it starts the process extremely slow, collecting just 2 cubes per minute at first, it quickly ups its pace to as many as 50 cubes per minute, leading to the entire harvesting process typically lasting 2 to 3 hours. Once it has finished harvesting, the creature will simply place its tools
I might
back
go
inside
join
its
Big
chest
Scaly to
cavity,
go grab
crawl
him.
back towards the hotel room door,
Maybe.
and phase through it once more. But the horror is far from over. SCP-5172-1 collects all of the organic material from the target during the harvesting process, all except for the central nervous system, which includes the spinal cord, peripheral nerves, the retinas, and the brain. These are left lying on the hotel room bed after 5172-1 carefully cut and scooped around them. And the truly horrifying aspect of the Zalmunna event is that the target is still alive at this point and will continue.
Wait, and basically, I got nacho cheese and I got cool ranch somewhere behind me. I could. Wait, let me put some of the nacho cheese in this Dorito bag. Not nacho cheese. Let me crush all of this up. It's like both types of. Let me make like. Which. That. It's so good. 5 a.m. Yeah, I saw. I know. Good idea. What? Okay, I'm. Never mind.
To live for
I'm just
several
going
more
to keep
hours
watching
in
this
condition. Even worse, reports from targets who had the Zalmunna event interrupted while in the middle of the harvesting process described being fully conscious the entire time. It now appears that the proboscis-like appendage that 5172-1 inserts into the target's eye does not appear to be an anesthetic agent at all, since the same rescued targets reported feeling excruciating pain. Instead, it seems that the purpose of the entity's appendage is to ensure that the victim stays conscious.
Basically, the other person, just saying, basically, I'm waiting for someone to join me because right now I can't do anything except just walk around. I'm watching Dr. Bob. If you don't know who's that's Okay. If you don't know, who's Dr. Bob. He's Dr. Bob. But if you can join me, please, code clan. Just the community mode clan. Oh! Oh no! Oh my Doritos! Oh my Doritos! Okay. This guy says he's leaving, and then he just never leaves. Okay, I don't know if this guy's gonna join me or not. If anybody's gonna join me, I'm just gonna keep watching Dr. Bob for the next, like, 3 hours. Oops, nope. Real YouTube channel. Well, live. Live. Hello? Who's in here? Please, please, I need you. I need you. I don't know where's my control. There it is. Please, I wanna play clan. I wanna play my PvP map I took a couple days on. That I was the only one that made it, and it's kinda glitched. And I still haven't... Actually, because nobody actually has joined yet, I'm going to do the update. I'm going to do an update. I'm going to add the lightsabers and then gun. If you go and join the community mode, remember, just go into the sandbox. I'm going to put this in build mode. Gonna put some lightsabers. Oh, lightsabers! Boom, boom, boom! Those, these. Oh yeah, there's all this. I'm actually going to, because this was rigged. There you go. It's not rigged anymore. Here it is. Lightsabers. One. Wait, does that count as all of them? Okay, good. Oh, I thought that would have took me much longer. Okay. I don't want to eat that yet. This I gotta fix. Okay. But when people die, that's the reason. Because these two are the exact same cuddle. That's the why the whole time it was glitched. Because soon that activates. Soon someone dies, that goes off. That makes so much sense now. I gotta change these colors. Or change. Hey, why are these both the same? Oh, because these are the end ones. These turn off everything. What? Oh. But, like, okay. Right? Team wins. Actually, also when people die, the map resets. Okay, that was 20,000 things I gotta fix. Hello, everybody. Isn't it like room already shutting down? Oh, isn't it already shut down? I thought it got shut down like a couple days ago. Aww. Can you join Yeeps? I got Yeeps. What walked? What? Is 190 subscribers. I'm kind of sad now. Oh my god. It won't. I going to do. What does he mean? Oh, what walks? Okay. Can you at least join Yeeps, please? I really need someone. I really need. I need help. I need emotional help, please. I gotta add some items. Oh yeah, I didn't add that gun. Go to. Oh why? I want to search up your name very quickly. Like, wait. Go to channel. Okay, now. I didn't know that. How many views? That's quite a lot. These people these days. I'm just gonna keep opening chat. I'm just gonna keep watching Dr. Bob if nobody's gonna join.
Through the whole process, fully aware of each cube being removed from their body, helpless to do a thing to stop it. As mentioned, the triggering of a Zalmunna event is not a guaranteed death sentence and can be stopped. While much faster than humans, SCP-5172-1 entities aren't especially strong and sustain damage much like a human would. Once it begins harvesting, the entity will become visible to others and can be terminated by the same methods that would kill a human, such as with gunshots or stab wounds. However, simply killing the entity isn't enough. The affected ice machine must be physically removed from the premises in order to prevent a new instance of SCP-5172-1 from materializing. Once triggered through the use of an affected ice machine, the only way to completely stop a Zalmunna event is for the target to leave the hotel and sleep in a private residence, which will prevent SCP-5172-1 from appearing. If the target sleeps in any bed in the same or even a different hotel, the event will continue.
Okay, I'm looking at you. Wait. No, I'm looking at you. Yeah, I'm looking at you right now, right there. You don't even have a life, that's pretty sad. Nom, nom, nom. I looked at you for long enough.
Efforts are underway to better understand SCP-5172-1 entities by capturing a live specimen, but so far, all attempts have resulted in failure. Captured entities are capable of manifesting their tools and cutting out of containment, while all attempts at binding or otherwise tying down the creatures has led to them dying within several minutes. Autopsies of dead instances have revealed that, like us, they have a circulatory system, though its heart is located in its head, which explains how they can be killed by being shot or stabbed, but they lack respiratory and digestive organs. As you can imagine,
Idiot?
Did she just call me an idiot?
It looks like you're about to take us to see the Moose Man.
You can imagine. The existence of SCP-5172 presents a problem for Foundation personnel and their business travel. Agents who must stay in hotels rather than SCP safe houses are briefed on the anomaly and required to wear heart rate monitors that can detect when an elevated heart rate occurs that may be connected to a Zalmunna event. Social media, text messages, and other forms of communication from devices that are connected to hotel Wi-Fi systems are monitored at all times for any references to ice machines, and any mention triggers the dispatching of a containment team to the site who will attempt to identify and remove both the ice machine and the targeted individual from the premises. All ice machines discovered at locations thought to be affected by SCP-5172 are then relocated to Site 30. One final note. While SCP-5172 has long been thought to be a North American exclusive phenomenon, there has recently been one confirmed instance of an affected ice machine in Amsterdam, the Netherlands. Making it even stranger is the fact that the Dutch do not seem to have the same mass public perception of the prevalence of hotel ice machines that North Americans do. And it is still unclear if this was a single isolated event or a sign that the Keter-class anomaly is spreading to other locations. Only time will tell. But in the meantime, even if you're staying outside of North America and want a frosty drink, consider paying the outrageous fees and grabbing an already cold one from the minibar. If you don't, you might find that you're paying for your refreshing beverage with much more than a pound of flesh.
It's 1 o'clock in the morning on a work night, and the last of the bar hoppers and clubgoers have long since turned in. At the end of the street, the last bar is finally closing down for the night. Or it would, except that the bartender is having trouble getting rid of a customer. Sitting at the bar, an old derelict is demanding yet another drink. The bartender grumbles in annoyance. This derelict is sloppy drunk, and the bartender just wants to go home. Closing time, growls the bartender. Just one more, protests the derelict, shaking his empty glass for emphasis. You got money? He laughs at his own words, his giggles ending with a loud belch that blows a cloud of aromatic vapor into the bartender's face.
This is you right now.
That's it.
Not you.
This derelict has been hanging out at this bar
that
causing
kid.
trouble all night.
Oh, that thing. Eat that thing.
Enough.
Get out
of here, says the bartender as he hustles the wobbling derelict out the door. You're done. The derelict creaks and totters as he stumbles out into the street. The night's festivities are really hitting him. It isn't so often that he's got the money to burn, but when he does, he likes to spend it here. The prices are right, and the conversation is minimal, which is just the way that he likes it. The derelict turns around, fire in his eyes. He's raring to fight, and he doesn't care that the bartender is quite a bit larger than he is. Right now, all he can see is red. Don't tell me when I've had enough, he slurs, raising his fists as he prepares to lash out. But the bartender has already slammed the door in his face. Defeated, the derelict turns his back on the closed bar and starts a slow stumble down the street. Stupid bartender, mutters the derelict, turning up his collar against the cold bite of the night air. He wishes that he just had one more drink to warm his stomach against the chill. He's so out of it that he doesn't stop to think that the bartender did him a favor by refusing to fight. There is no way that the derelict would have won that battle. Even if he was in his physical prime, even if the bartender wasn't twice his size, the derelict is in no shape to fight. His vision is blurry and his head is swimming. In fact, he can barely remain upright. If he had any sense, he would probably stumble home and sleep this off. But the night is young, and he's not ready to give up yet. He walks down the street, eyeing every storefront in hopes of finding another bar. Unfortunately, every window has a closed sign in it. He swears under his breath. What a run of bad luck. What's a guy supposed to do in this town, he wonders. Just when he's about to give up hope, he spies something glinting in the reflective halo of a street lamp. He stumbles closer to get a better look, and he can hardly believe his eyes. Finally, his luck is changing. Someone has abandoned a half-empty bottle. Well, hello there, little friend, says the derelict. He struggles to focus, but the world is spinning. In his confusion, he could swear he's seeing things. But no, he can feel the heft of the glass bottle in his hand, and he knows that it is as real as he is. Who left you behind? Who would leave a perfectly good bottle just sitting out here? He recognizes this brand. There's only about 3 fingers of liquid left, but that's better than nothing. Some people might balk at drinking out of a random bottle that you found on the street, but the derelict doesn't give it a second thought. He tips the bottle back and slurps it all down. It burns going down, just as it should, he thinks. He sighs in contentment as he feels the harsh liquid warm his stomach. Perfect. That really hit the spot. But what happens next surprises him so much that he can't believe his eyes. There's still liquid in the bottle. He blinks, wondering if maybe
F4?
his adult brain is playing tricks on him, but he shakes the bottle cautiously.
Yeah,
Is rewarded with the telltale
BO
swish of
has a
liquid.
F4.
That's
Where's
no illusion.
F4 on my
He takes
VR
another
control?
swig, guzzling it down. Normally, he'd drop the bottle
wait,
to the
that's not
ground
it.
and stumble
Where's my
on,
control?
but something makes him pause. He maintains his grip
Oh,
on the
those.
bottleneck and raises it again to
Yeah,
take another look. And sure enough, there's still more
Yeah.
left in the bottle. The derelict
F4
cannot
idea.
believe his
Yeah.
luck.
Oh, yeah.
He feels like he must have won the lottery. He's found a never-ending bottle. Already his mind is reeling with possibilities. That bartender really thinks he's so smart, he mutters to himself as he weaves unsteadily. But I don't need him anymore. See if I ever go to this stupid bar again. He just lost his best customer. Now that I have you, little bottle, I don't ever need to pay for drinks ever again. It's the best day of my life, crows the derelict, raising his arms in triumph. He's barely able to stagger back to his home, a seedy apartment on the bad side of town, before he passes out on the floor. The morning sun rouses the slumbering derelict, and he rises with a groan. His whole body aches, and his mouth feels dry and parched. That's par for the course after a night of drinking. But somehow this hangover feels different. He puts that thought out of his mind as his mind returns to the strange, never-empty bottle that he discovered the night before. It's lying on its side on the floor next to him. He reaches for the mysterious bottle, only to find that, in fact, the previous night was not a dream. The bottle still contains just as much as it did the night before. He can't explain it, but the derelict isn't about to question his good fortune. He lifts himself to his feet and walks slowly into the bathroom. He's feeling a hangover like he's never felt before. His head is pounding and his throat is dry. His tongue feels swollen and sluggish inside his mouth. But he knows how to handle it. A little hair of the dog is all you need to help with the hangover. He takes another gulp from his bottle, but this time it brings little relief. And he notices something else strange, too. It's his scalp. The skin on his head has started to itch, and he can't stop scratching. He feels like he's got the world's worst dandruff problem. He should probably take a shower, he thinks. He strips down and steps into the tub, turning the hot water on full blast and letting it wash over him. The shower only brings him temporary relief. Afterward, as he dries himself off, the towels feel rough and abrasive against his skin. His skin comes off in big, flaky patches, and his nails leave red trails in their wake. What's that? Is that blood? He examines his fingers to see that his nails are grown into ragged, claw-like talons. With a frightened yelp, he bites them off. It's easy to do. Although they look formidable, his fingernails are weak and brittle, almost as if he's dealing with a sudden calcium deficiency. What could be wrong with him? He remembers all the warnings he heard back in school when they used to march everyone into assembly to listen to lectures from the local police. At the time, he scoffed at the long lists of scary-sounding consequences of a lifetime of drinking, but now, he's not so sure. It's probably nothing, he says as he examines himself in the bathroom mirror. His skin looks blotchy and infected.
Hey, Meta. Cold Claire. Hello. I do have some gossip to tell you. Are you still in New York?
It doesn't take long before his hair and nails are out of control. His hair grows down to his shoulders, but comes out in big, ragged clumps if he runs his fingers through it. His claw-like fingernails are constantly breaking and cracking until his fingertips are bloody, and his quick is itchy and infected. If his habits had left him looking worse for wear before, he really looks awful now. For the next week, he barely leaves the apartment. He pulls the curtains and keeps the lights off, afraid that someone might see him. When the landlord bangs on the door, shouting that rent is late and demanding that the derelict hand over the money, he doesn't answer. He waits. The landlord gives up for now. That's good, thinks the derelict. It will give him time to think, time to figure out what to do about his disease. He knows that something is not right. Many of the local bartenders are, by now, probably wondering where he's gone. It's not like the derelict to stay away. He's practically kept the bar industry in this town afloat all by himself. It must be something major indeed to keep him away from his favorite poison. Luckily, he still has the bottomless bottle to comfort him during this trying time. The derelict is certain that he's caught some bad bug, but he thinks that he can wait it out. All he needs to do is make it through the next week, and everything will be fine. Sipping free drinks helps him to pass the time in a pleasant stupor as he waits for his health to return. Unfortunately, things are only going to get worse for him. His hair and fingernails keep growing, to the point that he has trouble lifting the bottle without his twisted nails getting in the way. His dry, flaky skin is changing as well, becoming thick and leathery and hanging off him in great folds like the hide of an elephant or a rhinoceros. His skin continues to grow until the folds flop over his knees and gradually hang lower and lower until they touch the ground. Moving is harder now that he's carrying so much extra weight. He thought at first he just had a nasty bug, but he's clearly picked up some weird skin condition, and even this derelict, sodded as he might be, suspects exactly where he got it. It's got to be that crazy bottomless bottle. He can't think of another reason. Even so, he can't bring himself to part with this little gift from heaven. Even in his darkest hours, a few sips of liquid courage always helps to calm his nerves. He considers lumbering down to the free clinic in hopes that they might be able to cure him or at least tell him what's wrong with his skin. But he thinks better of this option. What if he's got some weird alien parasite that no one has ever seen before? They might lock him away in some government lab or something. No, he reasons, it's better to wait it out. He'll sleep it off, swear off the sauce for a little while, and maybe it'll pass. In desperation, the derelict drags himself across the floor, hoping to at least find some solace away from human contact. He locks himself into his bedroom while he's still able to manipulate the lock on his door. The extra folds of skin are hanging off of his hands and arms, making it hard to do anything. The extra skin is so heavy that he can't walk much carrying all that extra weight. He lies on the floor of his bedroom, away from everything, and hopes that tomorrow, when he wakes up, this will just be a fading dream. The only thing that brings him solace is the never-ending bottle, which, even now in his advanced state of decay, he keeps close by him. After all, he reasons, the damage is already done. What could possibly be the harm in enjoying a nice drink? A week later, his condition has not passed. The landlord is back, and this time he's not taking no for an answer. The landlord isn't supposed to enter his tenant's apartment without permission, but he doesn't care. He uses his own key to unlock the door and go inside. The condition of the apartment is appalling. The furniture is broken, the floor is covered with unidentifiable filth, and there's a rotten stench in the air.
That
The
kind of
landlord
seems
wants
like
to
me.
throw up as the full weight of the musty smell hits him in the face. It's as if someone has
Smelly.
been living in here without any ventilation, with all the windows firmly closed and sealed. A sudden noise from the bathroom draws his attention. Of course, thinks the landlord, that old bum is hiding in there. He thinks I won't find him. The landlord steals his resolve and heads towards the bathroom, determined to get the money that he feels is owed to him.
What's that
But
bad?
what greets him when he steps through the door isn't the derelict anymore. It isn't even human. The creature in the bathroom is a massive pile of ambulatory...
That kind of seems like me. That's like one piece of my, like, that's like an atom to my stomach. Wow. That's so tiny. Why are they so shocked? So
skin
tiny.
folds. The skin flaps have grown so large and cumbersome that the derelict within can barely move. They sprout all over his body,
I can
covering
move
him
and
so
I'm
that he
the
looks more
size
like
of
some
the
kind
universe.
of alien sea cucumber now than any human. The landlord stumbles backwards, screaming in terror at the sight, unable to comprehend what he's looking at. Improbably, the creature reacts to the
Can't
noise,
lie.
and a ripple of movement spreads
Whoever
across
was
its
the
surface.
person that tried
It
to
starts
get
to move,
that
despite
guy
not
is
having any
literally
legs.
killed.
The landlord is so terrified
Do you see
that he
his
doesn't
neck?
notice the glass bottle that suddenly drops from between the creature's skin folds as it starts to move toward him. The same bottle, still with 3 fingers of liquid inside. How could something like this happen? What parasite or disease did the derelict contract from the miracle bottle he found? Sadly, this never-ending bottle isn't a boon, but a curse, and the man who found it that night became just another victim of what the SCP...
Today, first phosphate is
Foundation has classified as SCP-420.
Oh,
SCP-420
my
looks
back.
like a perfectly ordinary bottle of a certain popular libation, even to the point that it bears the label of a common brand. The bottle always contains a small amount of a mysterious liquid known as SCP-420-1. If this liquid is poured out, SCP-420 will always replenish itself. When SCP-420-1 is potent, it is physically, chemically, and molecularly indistinguishable from ordinary whiskey, although drinking will have an effect far greater than even the strongest liquor. When
Ooh,
SCP-420-1
just saying,
is
guys.
poured out of SCP-420,
She really
though,
tried to get
it undergoes a strange transformation,
She
eventually
really tried to
losing
get
its
them
potency
until
and
they
changing
leave. I'm
until it is
probably gonna delete
indistinguishable physically,
in a
chemically,
couple
or
of days,
molecularly
maybe in
from urine.
Right now,
Consuming potent
I still got school next week.
SCP-420-1
On the
instigates
end
a
of
bizarre
next
physical
week,
transformation
I'm going to
called
delete. But
SCP-420-2
if you come down here, you see
in
the
6
VIP
stages.
one. It's right here.
In Stage 1, beginning 12 hours
But
after
remember, you
consumption,
need
the subject will start to have difficulty speaking, resulting in slurred speech that is not consistent with normal alcohol inebriation. Their fingernails, toenails, and hair will start to grow at an accelerated rate, but also become brittle and prone to breakage. Nail breakage to the quick often leads to bleeding and infection.
Wait.
The Foundation has
Wait,
had
wait.
some success
Did
in
I
curing
actually-
SCP-420-2 if it
Wait,
is caught
what
when still in Stage
the
1, treating it as if it is an
heck?
aggressive form of cancer with radiation and chemotherapy, as well as
Did
a
you see
constant
that?
intravenous supply of Formula
What the heck did I do?
420A09T-T174B. Victims thus treated
You-
have a
you-
73%
yeah, it's gonna-
recovery rate, but a
right?
21% fatality rate. From Phase 2 onward, this protocol can slow the spread of SCP-420-2, but will not stop it entirely. In Stage 2, beginning
I'll
1
get
to
you
2
guys
weeks after
walls.
Stage 1, the subject's skin begins to show similar properties to those exhibited by hair and fingernails in Stage 1,
Does
becoming
that also
dry,
count as
brittle,
this?
and prone to cracking.
Yeah. What
As old
about
skin flakes off, the subject's new skin begins to grow at an
bouncy
accelerated
toast?
rate,
Then I will
eventually
give you
forming
guys
thick, leathery folds all over the subject's
the-
body. Skin flaps growing inside the mouth interfere with speech and eventually render subjects
that,
mute,
and
but
I
do
was
not
going to
appear
give you
impede
guys
breathing or eating. Indeed,
Oh, yeah.
subjects in Stage 2 exhibit a renewed interest in eating, possibly because the subject's
already
body
allowed.
requires additional nutrients and calories to build the increasingly heavy armor of thickened, calloused skin. Stage 2 subjects
Okay,
will eat
that's-
anything that they can get their hands on,
Okay,
and many die after
what's
attempting to eat
music
poisonous or inedible objects.
thing?
In Stage 3, beginning
there
3
it
to
is.
6 weeks after Stage 2, nerves in the skin layer
Okay.
grow uncontrollably, but no longer connect to the victim's central nervous system.
Let me just
Genetic
go.
testing of the skin in this stage reveals that its DNA has become so mutated that it can no longer be classified as human. It
Yeah,
is,
I'll
in
put
fact,
this-
a separate and very inhuman organism that almost acts
Right.
as a parasite growing from the human host.
Up
The skin may develop tumor-like growths, which appear to be analogous to human muscle and secretory cells. Hair and
You guys can
fingernails
play
sprout
whatever
randomly from the
music.
mass of skin. By Stage 4, beginning 3 to 7 days after Stage 3, the skin has become a mass of thick, leathery folds, completely covering the human host to the point that they disappear completely. The skin begins to exhibit random twitching movements, as though it is indeed a
God, I really like this song. Where should I put a little thingy blob? Okay, wait, guys. If you go and watch my live stream after, if you guys see this part right now, wait, what was I gonna say? If you guys make a video of you just going around here, just this, I don't know. Just do it, and then, like, stay in my next live stream, and it's probably gonna be tomorrow. Stay, or, like, whenever I'm live streaming, say, go to my YouTube channel. I did video. And then, if I see you doing that with, like, a friend or something, I don't know yet. Got that? Okay, let's put this out of build mode. Oh yeah.
living organism finally coming into its own as a life form and testing out its new body. The human subject within the skin continues to eat, although brain scans reveal that they are no longer in control of their mouth. Instead, the skin entity forces the mouth to move by moving the attached skin. Small holes begin to form in the skin, eventually growing into narrow tunnels or throats that lead back to the now trapped body of the helpless subject. The subject is still consumed with a ravenous hunger and will eat anything that they can get in their mouth. In Stage 5, beginning 1 to 2 days after Stage 4, the skin begins to move in patterns indicating rudimentary intelligence. The skin, although still attached to the original subject, is now completely and distinctly non-human. It is its own organism. It can move of its own accord, dragging the trapped host along for the ride, and it moves and feeds much in the manner of an extremely large amoeba. It feeds by excreting a digestive enzyme onto foodstuffs and then enveloping the nutrients with its skin folds, again like an amoeba surrounding its food. The food is taken into the throats. These tunnels connecting the outside of the skin to the now completely subsumed host are now directly connected to the host's circulatory system and function as additional mouths.
I forgot how to spell wall. And I'm a content creator. Holy, I don't think I might be the most stupid content creator. Yeah, I still got a while. Wall? What will wall be? Can someone please say how to spell wall? Because I forgot how to. Oh yeah, there's nobody watching. Wall, wall be. Wall. Oh, I want to make one of these maps, kind of like one of these. It's a different type. It's like I want to make a actual like good map. Charms. They already did. They did a. Wait. Did they do a new update? I don't know as everybody is leaving. What should be the communal called? Bulbs. What should it be? Huh. Let me think. What should I make it? If I type in this. No, I don't not wanna. I was just seeing. Wow, these ladies only have one. Wow. There you go. Let's see. Join. What about just like one? Holy freeze, my game. Isn't that a two-shot already? I think there's like one. Jetpack? Or what about jetpack? That might be a good communal name. CO, on a jetpack. It's J. Holy, these kids. G-E-T. G-E-T. P-A-C-K. Jetpack. There's a communal. Let's check it out. Let's check out jetpack. Yeah. Whoa! Give me those. Let me just go around that. Oh, give me those. Is it like a only die? What? Oh, Among Us. VIP. How are we supposed to do this? What? I don't think this is. Go! Oh, this was made quite a long time ago. Means it's using these. Okay. Well, let's see. Okay. Grab this. Okay. Okay, there we go. There we go. Now. Oh, that was. Huh. Oh, that's why it's so hard. But a little bit too easy for me because I'm a. Okay. I messed up. Okay. Oh, we lose points? Oh, frick. I should have known that. Frick. Wait, I just gained. I fell. Deaths? It's how many times you died. Holy, where do you go? Okay, there you go. Now, that was a little bit hard. What the? Let me get on that. Frick. Frick! I died not that many times. What? Huh? God about that. What? Holy! My stupid head's that fat. Frick! I have not died that many times. Is it this so? Okay, now the game just doesn't like me. I think. I'm not going to do that because I think it deletes. That's actually pretty funny. Oh, I forgot to use this. It was supposed to go on this side. Frick! I go up too quickly. Okay, I have not died 50 times. Holy, whoever made it super hard. And I know that's the only match. Okay, yeah, you gotta get on this. Then you have to. You gotta get down and then use it. I know that. Holy, I was so loud. Okay, yeah. Because I know this doesn't fell right into that. Holy. Holy. Okay, now it just doesn't care if I hit something or not. Holy. Okay, I got. I was so close. Okay, and now I know how it works. Basically, you gotta jump. I've died over 20 times. And just this. It was so close. I got jumped down. Oh! The whole time! Okay, I just need to get up. Oh, it one-shots me. I don't know why it froze me the first time. It's not letting me use this. Holy, why is it on that? Okay, this is much harder than it looks like. Gotta get on that. And how am I getting a lot more points? Okay, I gotta... How are you supposed to do this? Actually... Why sometimes it just automatically kills you? It just doesn't. Like that, like... Okay. Okay, I'm safe. Quick. Okay, I figure out this stuff. I have to get on one of these. I was so close. This is a rage bait game. This is totally a rage bait game. Finally! Oh, that took... Oh. Just... Okay, I can just, like... That's the one bottom. Oh, there's a light right there. Oh, that was so close. That was genuinely pretty close. Holy. Is there I forgot I was even in a live stream at this point. It's so hard. How the heck is this level supposed to be? It's like impossible. Oh, you have to use these right. Okay, okay. I could try to do that. Holy, okay. Can I skip this level? Chat sucks. Oh, you just respawn. Like, this is literally a jetpack. Frick, holy, and was 10 days. Why is this off? Win coins. I have one so near. Wait. Oh. Infinite money glitch. Infinite money glitch. Oh, what? Wait, am I in? I turned invincible. What? I turned invincible for so long. Wait, you could. I'm. Oh, I just found. Oh, what? What? Oh, I got. Oh wait. How is this possible? That's how it's possible. But I just found the most OP glitch in this game. Guys, I think I might. It's the one problem. I get toned soup. Like, and I can't just like have two of them. That's the problem. How do I power this? I have to learn how to power this. Oh! Oh, okay. Oh, there's zero gravity, absolutely. This one's way too easy. Oh, what? That was way too easy. Oh, flickadoodle. Okay, this is literally impossible. Oh wait, these are normal ones. Oh. Oh, I think we were supposed to get it right over there. I can't speed run all the way to this. That is way too far. How is this even possible? I gotta make that and not. Holy. Okay. Okay. It just wants to kill me whenever. Okay, I saw that at that time. How did I do it? I did it like second try. Holy crap. This. Holy stop. Just. Holy frick. Holy. I can't do this. I died. Holy, okay. Now I get it. If I don't die each time. What? How did I even die? Holy crap. Okay. What am I dying for? Okay, soon I try to. Can't get my body near that part. Now it just wants me at that point. Holy, this is no. Holy. If it's at least like in. This is just. What's that invincible glitch? Like. If I can. Not even touching anything at that point. Like, I don't know what to do. I'll be. Okay, I might just try to see one. You get whoever made this, you suck. Oh, are you just? Are you? Nah. Holy. Oh, I quit. I don't. I'm not playing this game anymore. I'm not playing this anymore. Get me out of here. Oh. Okay, I'm done. Okay, what should I? What about just yeeps? What about yeep? I don't know what to. What should I?
Oh, hello.
Wait, Mr. Rocket Ship. Okay, Mr. Rocket Ship, come here.
Okay. What should I name something? What about Dr. Bob? Bob. No. Time bomb. B. This kid's saying nothing. Like, what should I make? What should be a communal code? What is like a popular name? Triage. How many days does tree have? It's one of these. Keywords. It is one of these keywords. This is a whole different keyword. What? Holy! This probably has tens of thousands of visits. Holy! Whoever made that keyword, you Jenny Barnes. I don't even remember what I typed in. Wait, let's see what I typed in. I typed in. If I tree. I think this is a whole new commute. Yeah. Okay, yeah. I just want to see how many days on the tree, because then I am able to. I didn't see stuff. And someone like me. Oh. I don't give this guy something because. But Yeah, let's see. Tree Pie has thousands of visits. What else is... Huh. How's he wearing two masks? See that? He's wearing a content creator mask and also a bundle mask. That's pretty weird. What can... I own pet PvP, I know that. What? What could I name? What is... What about live? Let's check out live. Now it's just a communal. And because I touched... Never mind. Well, 6 best. Oh. I think this is just teleports you to any communal. Oh, this is like... Oh, this is literally... I might actually donate to whoever made this. Because this is literally... It doesn't seem like there's any other... I really do want to donate, but like the thing is, I don't. Let's see. Let's see. What is another common thing? I kinda wanna see what... Like... I don't know what to name. Because, like... What about butt coins? But... How do you spell butt? I think it's B-U-T-T. Like, actual, like, butt. Then coins. Oh. Bitcoin. Bitcoins. What? Wait, what? There's just some kid in here. What?
Rascal, I love you. Where's Rascal? I love him.
Okay, I'm going to turn off voice chat again. These people these days. I don't actually hear what he says.
What?
What? What do you think is a good communal name? Because right now I've been live for almost 90 minutes. I think he Jenny left. Yep. I'm now live in 90 minutes. But coins with 2 S's. This is actually a good community, but like, wait. Oh, that's the new blocks. I think this just got made, like. yesterday. I don't know what type of content item I should make. Because I just want to make a certain community world. By myself. But I don't know what to call it. What about one up? Is that one? What about one what? I could also do 2D. Oh wait, 2D. 2D. Oh, that was a nice fall. 3D. Oh yeah, D. But also, what about 1D and 2D? What does 1D even look like? Wait, actually, I'm going to search that up. What does 1D look like? Okay. One. What? 1D. 1D. 1B. Wait, what? 1. That's one. Oh, okay. Okay, now I get it. Basically, ZOD is just a circle. What? I think ZOD is not even anything. Oh, it says 1D is just a line. Oh, that makes so much sense. Okay. It makes so many times sense now. Ugh. 1D and 2D. Imagine playing in 1D. Oh, that was so nice of a fall. Never mind. Why am I thinking about that? What is a good name? One up, up. But I think, like, how? Should I buy it? 1 up? A 1 up? I'm thinking of like the 2D thing that you have to like run across. I think 1 up. I think I'm 1 up. I 1 up. You. I can't lie. Bye bye, my butt coins. My butt coins. Okay. Okay. Now let's start spending even more butt coins. I think I might just like. Wait. If someone's shooting at you, can't you just grab it? What is all the bundle items do? Okay, seems like there's like no bundle items. Okay, wait. Let me look for all the bundle items I have right now. 1, 2. I have 2. Let's see over here. 1. Only see 1. This I think I have. 1. Okay, I also only have 1. Shoes or whatever. I don't think they made any bundles with that. I have the bundle flashlight. No bundle with that. I guess there's the dragon eggs, that, and that, but, wait, actually, I'm gonna try this out. So, but I have 11 bundles. I only counted, like, a couple. I'm looking for... Hey, can I just, like... I can just make... Wait, can't this move you back? Wait, let's see. It can. I can use this. And I also on the massive one. You know what else is massive? The low tip. I'm just kidding. It's the 8 set. I might go get some buck coins. Wait, the free items. Let's go. At this point, I'm not even playing. Like, I'm just straight up just building. Ooh, I like that map. Let's go check out free blocks. Free blocks, please. Nice. You know, I haven't bought a single... I gotta sell my items again. I haven't been selling my items. I was trying to help this guy scam just because, like... Oh, I wasn't helping him. I was just saying, yeah, it totally works because he was trying to do something. I can get more buck coins anyways. I gotta go do my other things. Let's put this on favorites. Let's, 100! Yes! 120 is 2 hours. I still got a while. Dimensions. Oh, settings, dimension. What's these dimensions? The middle one's how high. But I want to go that way. That's so high. I'm going to do... It's... Wait. Why would you ever buy 80 by 80 if you can just buy 80 times 100? Who will ever buy 80 by 80? Like... I don't know which one of these to do. I could do that one. That's shorter than. But those maps are still pretty big. I think I'm gonna do like. I need like a little bit. Yeah, that one. No, I need a little bit. Like, is it like 100? I'm gonna do 80 by 80 is that big. I think I'm going to do, is there another one of these that'll, what? Okay. I'm super space. I guess I would do that one. Oh, yeah. This is pretty fine, I guess. It's a little bit too big in my case, but, like, it's fine. Full spinning down the ground. Let's also watch some Dr. Bob. Because I love listening. Okay.
Mouths. They can consume nutrients which are moved down their length by bristly hairs,
Ew.
and further broken down by grinding
Why
plates
is this
before
what
being
I
taken into the
host
host's
here?
body. Most hosts will remain in Stage 5 indefinitely, although there still remains a much more dangerous Stage 6 yet to come. At this time,
Remember, I only
it's
get
unknown
80
what factor
blocks
triggers SCP-420-2 to develop into Stage 6.
Oh my.
Eve to me is
I do not like
basically freedom.
Eve.
It's a giant open universe where you
Little information about Stage 6 is available at this time, although it is known that it involves even more accelerated skin and keratin growth, resulting in a sudden increase in size and mass. Perhaps the most terrifying part of the entire transformation is that the host remains alive for the duration of the process, and sometimes even after SCP-420-2 has settled comfortably into its new life at Stage 5.
Sorry guys, but
most hosts will have
I
completely
kind of forgot I
succumbed to
called
insanity
him.
by this point, although some are shown by
Sorry
brain scans to still
about
be
if I
self-aware
was
and
pretty
quite
mean
calm.
to that kid.
Perhaps
He just
fading
was...
into a zen-like state as they accept the inevitability.
I don't
of
really
their
like
fate.
people that show their face.
SCP-420 is contained in a storage locker at an undisclosed site maintained by the Foundation, and it is only to be removed from this locker by SCP staff with Level 3 clearance or higher. It has been given the Safe class because, despite the horrifying nature of its effects, at least it doesn't move anywhere. Samples of SCP-420-1 not in use by testing should be stored in the container marked SCP-420-1 Decon in Locker 1014-420 until they lose potency, at which time they can be disposed of as biohazardous liquid waste. Victims infected with SCP-420-2 are not contagious and should be contained in standard solitary D-Class secure confinement. On reaching Phase 3, subjects should receive double rations. Due to the extreme danger of Phase 6, any subjects who reach Phase 4 should be closely monitored for signs that the condition may be advancing further, in which case they are to be immediately destroyed by incineration. Knowing the fate that befalls victims of SCP-420 should make anyone think twice about drinking out of a random bottle that you just found in the street. Though personally, I think that's just common sense. The group of children on their bikes stare intently at the large, abandoned house. Rumors have been circulating all school year about a monster that lives inside. One child tells the others about the kid from a couple towns over who went inside and never came back out. And it's easy to believe that something evil could be lurking inside the rundown home with its peeling paint and many broken windows.
2D.
The children begin teasing each other, daring one another to go in and see the monster for themselves. No one seems especially eager to volunteer, though,
I need
as
some...
they all egg each other on.
Because
as the group of children
I
joke about
want
who should be
this
forced to go
part to
inside,
be over there.
another
I don't
comes
know
riding
how
up
that
behind
works.
them, struggling to catch his breath. You left me behind again, he complains. Clearly, this is not the first time that this smallest child of the group has been made to try and keep up with his bigger and faster friends. The bigger kids all turn to look at him.
Wait, we can
They don't need
change
to discuss
this
it any
sound
further.
box.
The answer to who must go inside has already been decided. The smaller child tries to protest, but ultimately, what decision does he have but to go inside? He can't let everyone else think that he's a chicken. He's got to prove once and for all that he's just as tough as any of them. Without another word, he lets his bike fall into the dirt and makes his way towards the big, creepy house. The door pushes open without any resistance, and the boy looks into the dark house. The boy steps inside, and the floorboards creak loudly under his feet. The inside looks much like the outside, old, worn, and abandoned. But then, he hears something, a scratching noise coming from above him. He turns to leave, but he can see all of his friends through the doorway, and they motion for him to keep going. The boy steels his nerves and turns back. He's going to show them just how brave he is. The boy starts up the stairs, each one groaning as he steps onto it.
Oh,
He
what
reaches
about
the top
this
of the stairs to find a landing with more rooms,
thumbnail?
each full of dirt and debris. There's spray paint on many of the walls and lots of trash.
I don't know.
It looks like teens may use this as a place to hang out. But there at the other side of the landing is one more room, and the door is shut. From outside, the group of children can see through the upper windows as the boy makes his way through the house. They're not laughing and teasing any longer. In fact, they're impressed by how bravely he is exploring the old home. Though none of them would admit it out loud, he's earning their respect. The boy reaches the shut door at the end of the hall and presses his ear to it, but he doesn't hear anything inside. He places his hand on the doorknob and slowly opens it. The boy screams and falls backwards as the cat that was hiding inside panics and jumps through one of the open windows. The boy can't help but laugh. Of course it was just a... The boy screams again as the floor gives way beneath him. He crashes down onto the first floor in a pile of debris. He's stunned by the fall before starting to scream again as that floor gives way too. His yelling is silenced by the air being knocked out of him as he hits the basement floor.
I want you to
He's covered in
change.
dust and pieces of 2 floors he fell through.
Change your
He
biome.
feels bruised and sore, but he can wiggle his
So I
fingers
think
and
I might
toes.
change
He's
it
not
into
paralyzed,
base biome.
and it doesn't even feel like he's broken a bone. Maybe he's okay. But no, he's definitely not okay. Because suddenly, there's something picking him up off the floor.
300.
As his eyes adjust to the dark basement, he sees what it is that's holding him. It's half man, half machine. A huge, disgusting mix of...
Okay, I'm just going to stop putting down these space blocks.
You got killed by Chamber? You had a shorty. Get closer next time, or maybe try a gun.
Holy. I am not
Mix of metal
sponsored,
and flesh.
Dr. Bob. Please stop. Actually, I'm
Love Roblox.
Holy, I don't know.
Earn
Why did it
Roblox
just reset
digital
everything?
gift cards with Microsoft Reward.
Okay, it was like...
a place to hang out. But there at the other side of the landing, teasing any longer, Paul, as he crashes as he hits the... doesn't even feel it, as his eyes are too scared to scratch, as the monster raises its sharp metallic fingers and brushes the dirt out of the boy's hair. The boy starts to whimper, but whatever this thing is, it doesn't seem to want to hurt him. A tinny, robotic voice coming from a small device on the creature's face suddenly breaks the silence. Al-anta ala-mayuram. The boy doesn't understand, but the robotic man tilts his horrific head to the side and repeats the same thing. The boy is still confused, but he feels like the robot is trying to tell him something. He somehow gets the sense that it's not going to hurt him. Is this the monster that everyone's been afraid of? A misunderstood machine man living down here in the basement? The robot flinches as something is smashed on the back of his head. He tosses the boy to the side and turns to see the boy's friends, each of them armed with pieces of wood and other scraps as weapons. They've come here to save their friend from the monster that they dared him to find. Another runs up to strike the robot, but before he can reach him, he falls to his knees in pain, as do the rest of the children. The creature has begun emitting a high-frequency noise, and the children try to cover their ears. They all feel a searing pain that makes it feel as though their heads will explode. The piercing noise continues to ring out, but the monster looks like it has entered some kind of dormant state and is no longer moving.
The small boy is able to slowly get back to his knees, hands still clasped to the side of his head, and stand up. He runs past the monster and his friends who are writhing on the floor in pain, up the stairs and out of the old house. A woman stands at a kitchen counter, chopping vegetables for their dinner that evening, and talking to her oldest daughter about her plans for that weekend, when the back door suddenly bursts open. Standing there is her son, the small boy. He's barely able to whisper the words, "Monster. There's a monster in the basement," before he collapses, blood pouring from his ears and nose, before he begins convulsing on the floor. At the local police station, an officer is speaking on the phone. "I see. Yes, that is quite strange. A metal man? You don't say. I'll send someone out there right away. Don't go anywhere." The police officer hangs up the phone and looks around, making sure no one is nearby or listening to him, and then takes out his cell phone. He dials a number from memory, and someone answers on the other end almost immediately. "Yes, this is Field Agent Patch," the police officer says. "You need to get a containment team out here right away, and a good one too. I don't know what it is, but it's dangerous." An SCP Foundation mobile task force that specializes in containing dangerous humanoid threats soon arrived at the house and took the anomaly into captivity. Misinformation teams concocted a cover story about a gas leak leading to the unfortunate deaths of several of the town's children and administering amnestics to any potential witnesses. Once the messy business of containment was over, though, it was time to figure out just what this strange creature was. SCP-203 appears to have at one time been a Caucasian human male, though its appearance now is far different than it once was. This bipedal humanoid creature stands 2.5 meters tall and weighs roughly 200 kilograms. Both its incredible height and weight are due to the fact that the man's original skeleton has been entirely removed and replaced with a mechanical framework made of cast iron. The metal skeleton is much larger than the original bones, and in many places SCP-203's skin has split from being stretched over it, revealing the mechanical structure underneath. Other parts of the framework appear to have been intentionally made to protrude through the skin, though it is unclear for what purpose. In addition to this larger-than-normal mechanical skeleton, a number of other augmentations are present on SCP-203. Its fingers have been extended into sharpened, hook-like barbs that are approximately 1 meter long. Its lips have been removed entirely, making it clear that there is no movable jawbone, and that the skull is likely one large hollow piece of metal, and there are several more hook-like protrusions jutting out around the mouth area, smaller but similar in appearance to the fingers. SCP-203's legs have been modified as well, with 2 added joints that give them an appearance more akin to a dog's, and its toes have been removed and replaced with a solid piece of metal similar to those found in steel-toed boots. Its chest has no sternum or breastplate, which causes the skin stretched across to pull inward as its diaphragm contracts. Its ears have also been removed, though it still seems to possess hearing that is far beyond that of an average human. And while its eyes still remain, they are held in a permanently forward-facing position by several needles that emerge from the eye sockets. The irises also appear permanently dilated and do not react to light. In place of a mouth is a small speaker covered by a metal grate that is capable of producing basic vocalizations, though with a distinctly robotic sound to them. Tests have shown that SCP-203 has a basic understanding of English, but its own primary language seems to be a type of Arabic, though there are no records.
Guys, you know
Quickest
I'm
way
lonely
from a
now,
billion
but
points of data to a point of view. SAS via.
I'm lonely now, Beck. It's
As
pretty
loved
nice.
members of our family, we want our cats to be
Hillback
happy.
is
If
a-
your cat sprays outside the litter box
It's like-
or fights with other...
It's more like a sound more than like
Records of the
when
exact
I mean like a
dialogue.
sound, I mean like
SCP-203
one of the
does not
people
need
in
to
my
eat or
classroom
drink, and without any visible mouth,
Hillback.
it is likely incapable of either. Instead, it runs off of a power cell located
Only
within its
one.
body that will provide energy
And
for up to
she,
72 hours.
when I
After those
hear
3 days,
talking air,
SCP-203 will
it's
shut
like,
down and enter a hibernation state for 3 to 4 hours,
it's
during which
very
its power
weird.
source will recharge, providing it with another 72 hours of energy. All attempts to examine SCP-203 by either X-ray, CT, ultrasound, and other forms of diagnostic imagery have failed, and attempts at exploratory surgery have triggered its defense mechanisms, which are both painful and deadly. When it perceives that it is being threatened in some way, SCP-203 is capable of emitting a high-frequency droning sound that has a profoundly damaging effect on the human nervous system. The effects of this defense mechanism were able to be observed directly when a D-Class personnel accidentally struck SCP-203 and its droning sound was activated. Immediately after being exposed to the sound, D104 experienced a severe headache. After 15 minutes, the headache grew worse, and D104 began to bleed from the ears. After a half hour, the D-class, who had now gone to the infirmary, began to experience seizures and was bleeding from all of his orifices. 10 minutes later, the D-class was dead. Another test was performed, and the results were nearly identical, with symptoms progressing at roughly the same rate. However, this time, rather than move the D-class to the infirmary, it was kept in the cell with SCP-203. After 40 minutes, the D-class was dead, and a few minutes later, 203 finally ceased its droning sound. SCP-203 then approached the body of the deceased D-class and began to use its own augmentations to start removing the skeleton of the D-class. While SCP-203 was stopped before it could complete its task, it now appears that the droning sound it produces is a defense mechanism, but may also be a part of the process by which it creates new instances of SCP-203. In interviews with SCP-203, it claims to have no memories of its life prior to its augmentation. It says that it now exists in a near constant state of pain and confusion, and that the times when its battery is expended and it enters a rest state are its only escape from the pain of its existence. It also claims that it has no memory of what happens once its defense mechanism is activated, nor does it remember what it did to the body of the D-class that was left in its cell. However, it is unknown just how truthful SCP-203 is being. There has been no way to verify anything that SCP-203 tells researchers, and for the time being, its statements are to be regarded by Foundation staff as an attempt to elicit sympathy or otherwise manipulate them emotionally. It's made several requests for pain-killing medication and anesthetics, but so far, all of these requests have been denied. SCP-203 has been classified as Euclid, and it is kept in a specialized storage bunker at a research site. 2 D-class personnel equipped with sound filtering equipment guard it at all times, and it is accompanied by an armed escort to any testing or research sessions. Is SCP-203 the ultimate victim? A normal human that was transformed against his will into a crude amalgamation of man and machine? Maybe there is something more to SCP-203, or rather, less. Is SCP-203 fooling all of us? Is this tortured iron soul nothing more than a metallic monster disguising itself with the skin of its last victim? Perhaps with more research, we will one day know the answer. A young man is in the middle of one of his regular night jogs through the park. He loves running through this park at night. It's dark, the air is cool, and the sounds of the city that surround the park disappear, offering peace, quiet, and a small reprieve from the busy world. He jogs along a path that winds through the park and starts upon a section that is surrounded on both sides by tall trees. He follows the path around a sharp bend and is stopped in his tracks. Standing there, in the middle of the track, is a figure. It has its back to it and isn't moving. He's tall and so uniformly black that he almost disappears into the night. Whoever or whatever this is, he's scared of it. But the creature doesn't move, and neither does he. He's frozen, unsure of what to do, when the creature suddenly turns his head towards him, revealing a pair of bright, glowing eyes. The runner is so terrified he can't even scream. He falls and crawls backwards in the dirt, trying to get away from the creature. The creature turns its body towards him and begins stepping forward. The runner scrambles to his feet and runs. He's sprinting as hard and as fast as he can, adrenaline pumping, heart pounding, trying to put as much distance as he can between himself and that thing. His muscles burn, his lungs ache, but he can't stop. Finally, he's back at his house. He bursts through the door, locking and bolting it behind him.
Get a Planet Fitness Black Card for $1 down, $24.99 a month.
Do you support Israel and the Jewish people? Now, more than ever, Israel needs committed friends around the world to voice their...
His girlfriend is reading on the couch and doesn't understand what's going on. After struggling to catch his breath, he tries to explain what he saw on the path, but his girlfriend just laughs. A giant man with glowing eyes. He was just seeing things in the dark. It was probably a dog, nothing that would justify the panic he was now in. The next day, he's left wondering if he really was mistaken. Those piercing, glowing eyes are burned into his mind, though. Maybe his girlfriend was right, and it really was just a dog. Yes, that must be it. His mind was just playing tricks on him in the dark.
Even so, he's going to stick to running inside, at least for a little while. But he soon finds that he's having a hard time. He notices that he's running out of breath much quicker than normal. Is he coming down with something? He doesn't feel sick, but then why is he suddenly so weak? 2 weeks have passed since he saw something in the park. No one he brought it up to, not his friends, not his co-workers, have ever heard of such a thing, and no one seemed like they believed him either. At this point, he is feeling sure that he really did imagine it, but he can't get that image of whatever it was out of his head. He can't keep running on a treadmill forever, though. He misses his night runs. It's time to get over his fear. He's running through the park again, enjoying the silence and the light breeze on his skin. He continues down the path, acutely aware that he's getting closer and closer to the spot where he saw that thing before. He can't stop, though. He has to prove to everyone that he's not afraid. He has to prove it to himself. He reaches the part of the path that runs through the tall trees. Just like before, the sounds of the city melt away, the only sound coming from his steady, heavy breathing. He follows the winding path and feels his heart starting to race, but he has to keep going. He rounds the same corner, and nothing is there. He slows to a stop. Of course nothing is here. Nothing ever was. He really did imagine it. Or did he?
Holy, that scared me.
Today's file
That
comes from the
made me
Italian
jump
branch of the
back
SCP Foundation.
because I looked up and then
SCP-015-IT.
Oh, that
also known
scared
as
me so
the Boogeyman.
badly. Oh,
SCP-015-IT is a humanoid entity that stands just under 2 meters tall. Its
I
body
mean,
is
that
devoid
was
of any
scary.
hair,
That
and
was
its dark
genuinely
black skin
scary.
absorbs 98% of all light,
These,
making it
like-
virtually invisible in low light. Its head lacks a nose or ears, but these missing features are hardly noticed, because if you see 015-IT, its eyes are what demand all of your attention. While the boogeyman's skin is completely black, its eyes
that
contain
scared me
light-producing
so
organs
badly.
on the irises, causing them to glow in the dark, like a deep-sea predator. Its mouth contains 8 pointed teeth on both the upper and lower jaws, and a long 28-centimeter forked tongue. The 2 tips of its tongue each have a hollow needle-like organ that leads straight into its esophagus. More on what it does with that specialized biological feature soon. Physically, SCP-015-IT is rather slight, but it is surprisingly strong and easily able to overpower an adult human.
Nah.
Its skinny arms are much longer than average humans, and each of its 4 fingers ends in a razor-sharp claw. It has also been shown to be quite resistant to physical injuries and possesses the ability to heal wounds and damage to internal organs at a hyper-accelerated rate. SCP-015-IT is primarily active at night, which is unsurprising given its skin's natural camouflage in the dark. The boogeyman hunts mammals, with humans being its preferred prey. But it does not
that
feed on
picture
flesh.
right there,
Instead,
that scared me.
SCP-015-IT
Actually, I'm
draws
gonna-
its sustenance from the adrenaline and noradrenaline produced by its quarry. Adrenaline and noradrenaline are chemicals the body produces to increase heart rate, blood flow, and provide more energy to the muscles in moments of stress, or in the case of SCP-015-IT, extreme fear. And it has developed a hunting method to cause this
that is
exact
Jude.
reaction
That
in
is
humans.
literally Jude.
015-IT will usually hide in dark spots,
that is literally
trying
Jude.
to keep out of sight as much as possible.
There's someone
as
named
it
Jude in
stalks
my
its next
classroom,
victim.
and
If it has been
he
able
has
to
the
remain
worst
unseen,
neck
it will wait for
ever.
a moment when its prey has become
He is
distracted,
literally
so it can
like, you
silently
know,
approach
like
them.
those
Once
people that
close
are
enough,
hunchbacks.
it will leap towards its
He's
unaware
literally
victim,
that.
grab them, and quickly bite them
Yeah,
on the
that-
side of the torso, near where the
That
adrenal
scared
gland is
me
located.
so badly.
It uses its large teeth to anchor its mouth in place, as it uses the needles on its forked tongue to probe into their body. With one needle, it pierces directly into the adrenal gland and begins draining the blood that is now rich with fear-induced adrenaline. At the exact same time, the other needle releases a mild sedative, allowing 015-IT to feed and then depart without risk, as the victim remains immobile. Another anomalous
I've been streaming for 2 hours and 5 minutes. Oh my.
effect occurs when someone is unlucky enough to actually see the boogeyman. Roughly 2 weeks after observing the creature, the person who saw it will begin experiencing various detrimental mental effects, including hallucinations and panic attacks. Some will also
I had a
begin to experience
panic
physical
attack.
issues, most
I
often damage
had
to the
a heart
cardiovascular
attack
system.
there.
It is unknown
Oh,
why
my
exactly
heart's
these
still
mental and
racing
physical
after
effects
that.
occur, but it is theorized that
Dr. Bob, why did you do
SCP-015-IT may use it
Like,
as a
I'm
way to weaken
basically
certain prey that it considers too strong
and
or
you made
potentially
me do
dangerous.
that.
In 2011, the Boogeyman was actually contained, but not by the SCP Foundation. The Brotherhood of St. George's Knights is a secret order in the Catholic Church that was created by the Pope in the year 453 to either contain or eliminate all anomalies, and it was this group that first captured SCP-015-IT, which they designated as DIA-212, in line with their own classification system. While it was in their containment, they made a number of discoveries about the creature that they labeled as a shadow demon. First, they found that while it feeds on the fear of its victims by ingesting their blood, it doesn't actually require this to survive. DIA-212, as they call it, is an unstable entity, and feeding allows it to maintain its physical shape in our reality. In addition to its impressive physical strength, the Boogeyman is also quite intelligent, as seen by its ability to successfully hunt, attack, and escape from humans. Strangely, it also appears to be resistant to weapons which have been blessed, causing only a fraction of the physical damage that they should when compared to a similar, non-holy version. During the course of research into the creature, Father Ilardi, a member of the Brotherhood of St. George's Knights, wrote that despite the creature being repugnant beyond every limit, he believed that it had a gentle soul, and that its screams are similar to a pained cry. He postulated that SCP-015-IT may have even once been a human before some dark force transformed it into the monster that it had become. He decided that it was his mission to find a way to communicate with the creature, and one day bring it back into the light and love of his God. Father Ilardi was making good progress with the creature, and it seemed like it was even growing fond of him and his disciples. But his advances were halted when they were attacked by a group of soldiers from the Fascist Council of the Occult, a terrorist group that seeks to use anomalies as weapons in their quest to disrupt the social order. In the attack, several of the Brotherhood were killed, and in the commotion, SCP-015-IT escaped. Following this, reports soon began to come from the province of Caserta that described what sounded like vampire attacks. A mobile task force was sent to the area, and while 015-IT was initially able to make use of its various physical abilities to evade and escape capture, it was eventually shot with a transmitter that allowed it to be tracked. The Italian mobile task force was able to surround the creature, but fearing being contained again, it responded with a level of violence that it had not been thought capable of. Several members of the task force were killed in the line of duty before the Boogeyman could finally be subdued.
The
Today,
Boogeyman.
SCP-015-IT
Oh,
is
back
contained at
hurts.
Site Vittoria in the Emilia-Romagna region of Italy. Since this anomaly is both sentient and highly unpredictable in its behavior, it has been classified as Euclid. It is kept in a standard humanoid entity containment cell and is monitored by video cameras and infrared sensors at all times. Due to the light-absorbing properties of its skin, its cell and the adjacent corridors are painted white and are to be kept well lit at all times. Twice a day, SCP-015-IT is given a normal domestic pig that it is allowed to feed on. Any personnel assigned to 015-IT duty must undergo a psychological assessment on a weekly basis, and, regardless of the results, must be cycled out after 3 months of exposure to the Boogeyman. A storm rages outside of the little old house, as inside, a little old woman bounces a little baby on her little old knee. The baby coos and laughs as the old woman makes funny faces and noises for the child, trying to keep it entertained as they wait for his parents to return from their much-needed night out by themselves. The old woman herself needs a rest now, though. She's forgotten how exhausting it can be to watch a child. Okay, that's enough. It's time for both of us to take a little nap before your parents get back. She gets up and takes the baby into a nearby room that looks as though it was a nursery at one time, but it hasn't been used for many years. As she goes to set the child into the crib, a strong gust of wind blows through the room. She places the baby down and rushes to the window and closes it shut. It must have been left cracked open by mistake. Brr, the room is cold from the wind, but she has just the thing to fix that. She moves to a small closet and opens the creaky door. The little old woman strains to reach up to the top shelf and feels around. Ah, there it is.
This
Wait.
thing is basically an AI gaming companion.
If you guys sponsor me, then actually I can't get sponsored yet.
She pulls down a baby blanket, a soft baby blue with
I'm only
colorful animals printed on it.
YouTubers.
It looks as though it's been up there for a long time.
Coat.
She gives it a good shake before walking back to the crib. Look what we have here. It's your daddy's own blankie. She gives it another shake. There we go, good as new. She leans into the crib and wraps the small helpless child in the blanket before giving him a gentle kiss on the forehead. Now you get some sleep. Your mommy and daddy will be back before you know it, and we want to show them what a good babysitter Grammy is, don't we? That way I get to see you all the time. The little old woman switches off the light and exits the room, leaving the door cracked just a few inches. She heads back to the couch
I can't
and plops down on it.
stand that.
Almost as soon as she does,
I
though,
can tell.
the baby starts crying. With a sigh, she gets back up and goes back to the nursery. What's the matter, little dear? She says as she turns the lights on. Oh no, she rushes to the crib. You've kicked your blanket off. You must be freezing. She grabs the blanket from the end of the crib and tucks it around the baby once again. There you go, that's better. The old woman leaves the room and quietly closes the door shut, leaving it open just a few inches. The moment she turns around to go back to the couch, though, the crying starts again. With a sigh, she opens the door and goes back into the room. Once again, the blanket is stuffed at the end of the crib.
I don't
the
know
baby
if I
has
should
kicked
make
it
it
off.
full.
Fine. Don't want a blanket? That's fine. She picks the baby up out of the crib and rocks him in her arms until it stops crying. She sets him back in the crib. There you go. No blankets. Just please get some sleep. Grammy's tired. The old woman takes the blanket out of the crib and leaves the room. She closes the door most of the way and, incredibly, this time the child remains silent. The old woman resumes her place on the couch and starts to yawn. Just as she does, the wind outside picks up and howls loudly. The old woman shivers. She looks next to her and spots the baby blanket. She picks it up and examines the cute animal print, remembering when her own son was a baby wrapped in it. She smiles at the happy thought and throws the blanket around her shoulders. She leans back on the couch and finds that her eyes are growing very heavy. She'll rest them for just a moment. She won't fall asleep. She'll just rest. Mom, it's us. We're back. Thanks again for... The couple both scream when they enter the house to find that the old woman is lying face down on the floor in a pool of blood. The source of the blood is obvious. Chunks of flesh from her shoulders and upper back have been torn out, leaving jagged holes, as if she were mauled by an animal. As the man runs to the old woman, trying to do anything he can to help her, the woman runs to the nursery to find that the baby is sleeping peacefully in his crib. The woman picks up the child, tears streaming down her cheeks, and returns to the living room to see her husband kneeling beside his dead mother. Both the husband and wife are so shocked by what they have found that neither notices the baby blanket lying on the couch, or that the cruel, blood-covered mouth on it is slowly fading from view until it disappears completely. There is little in life that is more comforting than a favorite blanket. Perhaps you've had the same one since you were a child, or you have a heavy one that you like to wrap yourself in when you're feeling down, or maybe it's just one that's especially fluffy and warm that you'd do anything to keep. Today's anomaly plays on those very feelings, using them against its victims to become one of the more insidious predatory anomalies in the SCP Foundation archives. This is SCP-799, also known as the Carnivorous Blanket. SCP-799 is a creature that can vary in shape, size, and appearance, but, as the name implies, always takes the form of a blanket of some kind. The exact material the anomaly is made out of is unknown, but it is a very soft fiber that in many ways resembles a high-quality merino wool blend, though one that retains heat even more effectively than its natural counterpart. SCP-799's weight can vary from between half a kilogram all the way to 6 kilograms, and while examples have been found in nearly every color imaginable, it seems predisposed towards pastels and will frequently have patterns featuring stylized, friendly depictions of various animals. Both the pastel colors and the childish patterns are especially common in instances of SCP-799 that weigh less than 2 kilograms and would colloquially be known as baby blankets. While SCP-799 is undoubtedly a living organism, there is some debate as to whether it is itself an animal or perhaps a type of fungal colony. Instances of 799 are incapable of locomotion, lying motionless for long periods of time, and require little in the way of nutrition. What small amount they do need, they appear to be able to gain almost entirely from the organic particles present in normal household dust, such as animal dander and dead human skin cells. The blanket feeds via a series of minute, filter-feeding mouth-like structures that are spread across the surface of the creature, which wait for nutrients to fall into them, not unlike a sponge on the ocean floor.
We good, boys?
The relaxing pheromones of Feel Away Optimum help your cat feel more comfortable and secure at home.
Instances of SCP-799 can survive for quite a while in this state, and one specimen was noted as having lived for multiple years in a damp attic, subsisting entirely on the small organic particles that would drift down from the rafters above. Should an instance of SCP-799 be forced to go for long periods of time without a source of nutrition, though, like when, for example, it is placed inside of a sealed closet or drawer, it will begin to undergo certain physical changes, which result in it metamorphosing into its predatory form. These changes aren't noticeable from only casual observation and consist of the blanket converting its many filter-feeding mouths into a single, large one that is lined with multiple rows of extremely sharp teeth. The blanket creature also develops a new form of tissue inside its cloth-like structure, one that is similar to muscle and capable of contracting and squeezing. Once its metamorphosis is complete, the instance of SCP-799 will lie in wait for an unsuspecting creature to cover themselves with it or wrap it around their body. Once they do, the blanket will bide its time until they enter a state of rest, usually waiting for them to fall asleep entirely, at which point its feeding phase will begin. Once the creature has detected that its victim is dormant, it will use its newly formed muscle to latch onto them, holding them in place as it opens its tooth-lined maw. It will begin to bite at its confined prey, tearing off several kilograms of flesh, bone, and any other organic material it can, swallowing it and converting it into a thin slurry that it spreads through its body almost immediately. This traumatic, violent process nearly always leads to the victim dying of blood loss. Within 10 minutes of the attack, the mouth on SCP-799 will have been completely reabsorbed, leaving no signs that it is anything other than a normal, everyday blanket, though one which now mysteriously weighs several kilograms more than it did before. By 40 minutes after the attack, the entire digestive system within SCP-799 will have demetamorphosed back into its original form, with a single digestive tract being changed once again to the many dispersed filter-feeding mouths. While SCP-799 is more than happy to feed on any warm-blooded animal, including humans, it shows no interest in cold-blooded ones or inanimate objects. It appears then that its senses may be limited to only touch and heat, using those as signs that it is now wrapped around a potential meal. Adding to the strangeness of SCP-799 is that it reproduces through budding, like flatworms and corals. When it has absorbed enough nutrients and sufficiently increased its mass, either very slowly through filter feeding or rapidly via its carnivorous phase, it will begin to take on a quilt-like appearance. Over several weeks, one of the quilt squares will puff up and slide off the blanket. This new, smaller instance will resemble a doily or a throw pillow, until it too begins to feed and grow. The new instance is a perfect clone of its parent, identical in every way, and it will eventually grow to a similar size and begin its own reproductive cycle. It is unknown exactly how long it takes SCP-799 to reach full maturity, but the current best guess is that when kept in its filter-feeding phase, an instance will reproduce every 50 to 60 years. Instances of SCP-799 are quite prevalent across the planet, and the SCP Foundation currently has hundreds of examples in containment. Unfortunately, it is unknown just how many still exist in the wild, as it is very difficult to identify instances, with one of the only reliable means being through genetic testing. Should any instances be located, though, they are to be destroyed immediately, as the Foundation already has a large enough population in containment for research purposes, and they pose too much of a risk both in terms of harm and exposure to the general public. SCP-799 has been classified as Euclid, and each instance is kept in its own separate biocontainment cell at Biosite 66. Dust is regularly collected from the on-site D-Class personnel dorms and is sprinkled over the blankets regularly to keep them in their filter-feeding state, though only just enough to hopefully maintain their size and not allow them to reproduce. Should any small cloth objects appear in their containment lockers, it is to be removed immediately and contained separately. SCP-799 isn't the only predatory creature that resembles a cloth good in Foundation containment, and research into possible connections to SCP-1626, the oversized gray hooded sweatshirt that sends penetrating fibers into anyone unlucky enough to put it on, is ongoing.
It's not every day that the SCP Foundation opens a brand new site and appoints a new site director, but today is one of those days. Work is about to begin at Site 41, and the respected senior researcher has been appointed director of the brand new site. He hasn't been told much about it yet, but he knows a few things for certain. Some sort of new, highly volatile anomaly was discovered, a site was constructed around it, and his many years of loyalty to the organization have finally been rewarded with a promotion. As he takes his morning shower, his mind races, turning over the possibilities that this new chapter might bring. Is he up to the potential challenges? Just how dangerous is this new anomaly? What could possibly necessitate the building of a brand new site just to contain it? Whatever it is, these years of securing, containing, and protecting have prepared him. He's seen bizarre creatures, cursed places, and objects that defy the laws of physics. Whatever awaits him in his new position, he can handle it. He rinses the shampoo from his hair, letting his jitters flow down the drain with it, and switches off the water. He climbs out of the shower and turns to the foggy mirror. He sweeps a palm across the glass and meets his reflection's eyes. His serious expression catches him off guard, and he can't help but let his mind wander back to someone else who looked at him that way, with those stony gray eyes, such a long time ago. He and his brother had never gotten along. Though they shared the same face, the same hair, and the same eyes, they couldn't have been more different. He was the screw-up, the one who couldn't focus in class and was always bumbling through life like a bull in a china shop. His brother was the golden boy, the star student who could do no wrong. As the boys got older, he tried to climb.
There we go.
Whether you're a seasoned off-roader or getting your vehicle trail ready, Harbor Freight has
to climb out of his brother's shadow and tried to live up to their parents' expectations, but anything he did, his brother could do better. He got into a great college, his brother got into Harvard. He got a job, his brother got a more impressive one. He got a Honda, his brother got a Mercedes. He fell in love with a girl, and his brother married her. It seemed like he would never stand on his own, never be anything but the lesser version of a perfect man, a nasty little homunculus who just happened to be wearing the graven image of something greater than himself. On the night of his brother's wedding, the festering resentment had finally come to the surface. He remembers the night in bits and pieces, a harsh word, a fifth drink, a broken champagne glass. His brother said something that went too far, cut too deep. Without thinking, he shoved him just a bit too hard. He watched his brother fall, watched his head hit the corner of the table, and then he was still, silent. He thought about turning himself in, but then another thought crossed his mind. Why ruin two futures at once? His brother was gone. There was no coming back from that. Should he really spend the rest of his life in prison over a tragic mistake? It didn't seem fair. Instead, he planned. For once, he was grateful for the similarities between him and his brother, their handwriting, for instance. He forged a note to his brother's new bride, telling her that he couldn't take the pressures of his life anymore. He was leaving, fleeing to Europe to start a new life, with a new name, and leaving all of his old ties behind. Then he packed his brother's body, the one that looked so much like his own, into a suitcase. He drove out into the woods, to a place they had once gotten lost as children, and he buried it so deep, no one would ever find it. He'd never forget how he felt that night, laboring away in the dark forest, facing an unpleasant mess of snot and tears, the end of his shovel piercing the dirt again and again, until he'd made a big enough hole to consign the case that now held his own brother's mangled body. Every shovelful of dirt that he piled back on, hiding his sin, felt heavier than the last. What had he done? What the hell had he done? But by the time the grim deed was concluded, rationalizations had smoothed out the hard edges of his crime. There were a million reasons this was okay. This was justified. It was an accident, of course, that much was clear. But didn't his brother also have it coming, for flaunting his perfect life in his face for all these years? And who was the worthless chunk of dead meat now? The scales were balanced once more. No one would ever know what he did. No one but him, in those moments where he could see his brother in the mirror, reminding him of his greatest shame, no matter how hard he tried to forget. But that moment is long gone. He's back in the present now, grounding himself with a splash of cold water on his face. He shakes off the memories and dresses for the day. It's time to get to work. When he arrives at the facility, he's shocked by what he sees. It's a castle, grand and imposing, even if the years have not been particularly kind to it. The Foundation did not build this structure, though they've set up shop inside now. His reminiscence has made him late, and he hasn't even had a chance to look over his paperwork yet. But when you're a site director, what does it even matter if you're a little late? You're the boss, the head honcho. The party doesn't start until you walk in. Just the thought of it is enough to make his chest swell with pride. He will have to ask someone to fill him in, an eager subordinate who won't mind going over the basics of the new facility and what they are here to study. Like clockwork, a young assistant researcher scurries up to him, holding a clipboard and practically vibrating with energy. She clearly hasn't been working here long. There's still light behind her eyes. He thinks to himself, "The things you see here will snuff that out soon enough, my dear." The assistant researcher leads him inside the castle, its guts ripped out and replaced with sleek, modern technology. A stone staircase has been swapped out for a row of elevators, marble busts exchanged for security cameras and monitors. They enter one of the elevators, and the assistant presses the button for the lowest possible floor. They are going deep into the bowels of the castle, into the belly of the great beast. With a ding, the doors open, and they step out. The air down here has a peculiar smell, musty and dull, with a sharp metallic tang of dried blood. Along the wall, he can see a row of prison cells, 8 of them to be precise, all shut tight. They're rusted and old. They've been here for quite some time. The Foundation didn't put these here. Of course, he realizes with a sinking feeling in his stomach that he can't quite explain, these cells themselves must be the anomaly he's here to supervise the containment of. He should have read the file before arriving, shouldn't have let himself get distracted. Then he would know what he's walking into. "So here we are," the assistant chirps, startling the man. He had almost forgotten she was standing next to him. "Shall I give you the grand tour?" She won't last long here with such a chipper attitude, he thinks, but he nods just the same. She walks ahead of him, referring dutifully to her clipboard as she goes. "This is the first cell. As you can see, all of them are currently inactive. We'll be performing some tests later, though, and you'll hopefully get to see them in action. It's really something."
Hey, decisions don't have to be scattered, manual, or hard to trust. Get clear, defensible pay outcomes with BCom Pay Suite.
Wait, if it's...
Hey, Meta. Take a photo.
She continues walking to the second cell. There are a lot of potential applications for this anomaly that, once we understand it, could be incredibly promising. He's only half listening as he trails behind her. As they near the third cell, the assistant glances back at him. "I really look forward to working with you, sir. I've heard such great things." He opens his mouth to brush off the praise, to feign humility for her sake, when a sound startles him. The grind of metal against metal, the screech of a long disused door. The third cell is opening on its own. The assistant flips through her notes, growing pale. "This isn't supposed to happen. This shouldn't be happening," she stammers, but he barely hears a word. He's staring, transfixed, at the darkness within. There's a rattling sound, like chains being dragged across a stone floor. What is about to be unleashed from this prison? He braces himself, remembering all of the near-death experiences he's faced down in the past. Nothing could prepare him for what finally appears. A pair of iron shackles, attached to lengths of chain, shoot out from the shadows, headed right for him. A shackle clamps suddenly around each of his wrists. Cold metal tight enough to cut off the circulation, digging into his skin.
If you guys don't know,
then an invisible force on the other end of the chains begins to pull.
Yeah.
He fights it, the shackles cutting into him as the assistant screams for help,
map,
but his efforts are futile.
That the map is,
trying to lock him away,
I cannot use these at all. I can't anything.
Chains yank him inside the cell.
Except if I actually need,
if
I don't own a block and I need to place it
just
down, then I can use
his brother,
copy it and
laughing.
direct down.
Then he's gone, leaving only an empty cell and a traumatized assistant behind. Sometimes the sins of the past come back to haunt you, and unfortunately for this particular man, there's no statute of limitations when it comes to SCP-567, or the Dungeon. In case the nickname wasn't clear enough, the Dungeon is not the sort of place you would ever want to be confined. SCP-567 is a series of 8 cells located beneath Foundation Site 41.
And I'm just like
each cell has a designated number
area.
from SCP-567-1 through SCP-567-8. Most of the time, the cells are inactive and indistinguishable from any ordinary prison cell. However, when someone that one of the cells deems to be guilty of a specific offense enters their proximity, the anomalous properties of SCP-567 become abundantly clear.
567?
Each cell punishes a specific horrible act. SCP-567-1 targets those who have committed theft. 2 punishes sexual violence. 3 and 4 punish various types of murder. 5 punishes adultery. 6 and 7 I'm afraid I can't quite make out what it says. Someone appears to have deliberately scratched out the text in the file. As for SCP-567-8, whatever
Really?
wrongdoing it chooses to
Dr.
penalize
Bob,
is still
I am
unknown,
genuinely going
and it is
to
never
stop
activated in the entire
watching
time
you.
the Foundation has known of
You
it.
keep saying.
Every other cell is completely
Whatever.
empty, but 567-8 contains one single antique
Oh.
wooden chair in the center of the room,
Like, I
nailed
know
to
it's
the
your
floor.
job and stuff
The purpose
to
of
make
this chair
videos.
is unclear.
You
When
need
an
money.
individual who has committed one
Well,
of the
like,
aforementioned acts comes within 2.5 meters of their
still.
corresponding cell door, a pair of shackles will shoot out from within the cell, seemingly materializing out of nowhere. These shackles will then lock around the individual's wrists and drag them inside, at which point the cell door will slide itself closed and lock, and the prisoner and shackles will disappear. Multiple researchers have compared this anomaly, both in its function and its methodology, to SCP-1002, or Demisers,
Why
and
is this so big?
SCP-2701,
Oh, wait.
or True Solitary
There is
Confinement,
glass.
which I have discussed at length before. Since the Foundation first contained SCP-567, only two prisoners have ever reappeared after being taken. 68 hours after he was first placed inside SCP-567-3, D903912 escaped and was found collapsed on the ground just outside Site-41. He died only moments after reappearing, before any medical intervention could take place. An autopsy showed severe injuries, including lacerations, internal bleeding, and burns on his wrists and ankles. The second subject to ever return was D937122, who was found 157 months after being locked in SCP-567-6. In spite of her injuries, which included head trauma, missing fingers, and the same burn marks on her wrists and ankles, this subject had a great deal more energy and attempted to attack the Foundation personnel that found her. She was subdued by several guards, restrained, and interrogated by an unnamed agent. Thankfully, an audio log of the interview was included in the file, giving us a sense of what transpired. Please state your name. The agent began. D937122 did not respond. Please state your name. They repeated. Again, no response. The agent sighed heavily and changed tactics. Look, I'm very sorry.
Okay, let's check this side. 3. Oh, wait. Yeah, 3. Wait. Yeah. Oh, wait.
And I want to help you. But we can't give you medical attention unless you cooperate with us, so please state your name for the record. At long last, the D-Class responded with an intense outburst. My name? You want to know my name? Screw my name! There is no name, there is no anything! But there is. I escaped. I got the medal off, none of it... And here the audio was corrupted to the point where I couldn't understand what was being said. After the interference clears, D937122 could be heard shouting, I should be free! Let me go! A struggle followed as she attempted to escape custody. The agent then replied, in an attempt to calm the D-Class down, I apologize, but now we have the opportunity to... Screw your opportunity! There is no opportunity! There's only escape! You called me a monster. Maybe I am one. But the nightmares, they... She briefly broke down into unintelligible mumbling before returning to normal speech. Compared to their crimes, I've done nothing wrong. Nothing at all. I haven't done anything wrong. Nothing. At this point, the D-Class became inconsolable, all coherent speech dissolving into sobs. The agent attempted to calm her down, but she remained hysterical. After several moments of sobbing, the D-Class began to gasp, as if she was having difficulty breathing. She clutched her chest and began to go into apparent cardiac arrest. The agent attempted to administer CPR, but it was unsuccessful. And after a few minutes, she was dead.
Before you made the
An autopsy was ordered following the interview, which revealed the apparent cause of her death. Her body was covered with tiny punctures, and a toxicology report revealed an unknown poison in her bloodstream. Though only 2 people have ever emerged from SCP-567, they were not the only organic life forms to break out of the dungeon cells. Every so often, the doors of a cell will open, and an entity will emerge. These creatures are given the designation SCP-567-9, and they are always aggressive. They do not usually match the description of any existing animal, instead appearing to be some sort of undiscovered creature. Once an instance of SCP-567-9 has escaped its cell, it will attempt to leave the dungeon and attack anything that gets in its way. The first instance of SCP-567-9 observed by the Foundation was a 4-limbed creature approximately 2 meters in length. It walked on all fours, but had human-like hands on its front limbs, complete with opposable thumbs and sophisticated enough mobility to operate machinery. It was highly intelligent and used this intellect to take out 14 Foundation operatives before it was contained. The details of SCP-567-9-2 have been stricken from any official documentation. The only thing I can surmise from the file is that 9 personnel were killed after it appeared, and one of the agents that helped contain it requested and received psychological counseling for what they experienced during the process. So whatever it was he encountered, it wasn't anything good. During a round of routine testing with SCP-567-4, while the cell door was open, an instance of SCP-567-9 appeared, attacking and killing the researcher leading the tests. The entity was not contained, but after 7 casualties, was lured back towards its original cell. At this point, the cell deployed its shackles, and the creature was pulled back inside. The most recent instance of SCP-567-9 emerged when the door to SCP-567-7 opened and closed spontaneously. This was spotted on the CCTV footage, but none of the security monitoring the video could see anything leaving the cell. 2 weeks later, an agent assigned to the dungeon was found dead in his home, still in bed. The circumstances of his death were virtually identical to those attributed to SCP-966, a nightmarish species of creature known as the Sleep Killer, which I've discussed here on the channel before. When the escaped entity was found in Site-41, it was found to resemble an instance of SCP-966, with only a few variations. It was successfully contained, and the on-site security cameras were upgraded to prepare for future anomalies like it. Though many specifics are missing from the file, including the exact appearances of the creature that emerged from the cells, I have deduced one thing. Wherever SCP-567 is transporting those it deems guilty, it is a prison for monsters of all species. Humans are not the only ones it wishes to hold accountable for their crimes. As I was reading about the dungeon and the various tests involving it, a rather morbid question came to mind. What would happen to a test subject guilty of more than one crime? Which cell would claim them? Well, fortunately for my curiosity, and unfortunately for him, one D-Class found out. D-834200 was used as a human test subject during initial studies of SCP-567. He was placed in front of SCP-567-6 and 7. Almost instantly, the cells rattled open, and the shackles shot out to grab him.
Stop.
His left wrist and ankle were ensnared by Cell 6, and his right were trapped by Cell 7. Then, he was pulled into both cells. Well, part of him was at least. How can I best explain his fate without causing too much distress?
Good days start with homemade breakfast sandwiches.
Well, let's go back into
Technically, so can bad days. But come on, how can you have a bad day after eating bacon and eggs smothered in Land O'Lakes cheese?
I'm going back.
Eat it like you own it.
I'm going back in clan. It's my hurts so bad. Right now, there's nobody watching the stream, but like, I know people watch it after. But am I joining clan?
Data. There's too much of it.
That's okay. SASVIA builds models and makes decisions, so you don't have to freak out.
Actually, guys.
We're getting so much done!
From data to ta-da, SASVIA.
Have you ever held a wishbone in your hand at a family dinner while your sibling or cousin held the other side, and you both pulled until it broke? It was a bit like that. SCP Foundation Site-41 has been established in the abandoned castle that contains SCP-567 in order to prevent any civilians from coming across it. The entrance to the dungeon is kept sealed at all times, and the doors to each of the cells are monitored via CCTV. If any door is opened without authorization, Task Force Delta 9, also known as HACS, will be deployed to contain the resulting instance of SCP-567-9. If, for any reason, it cannot be contained, the task force is permitted to terminate.
No, wait.
In order to prevent the unnecessary loss of any personnel, all applicants to join Task Force Delta 9 must have a clean criminal record, have never committed a crime at all, even at the behest of the Foundation, have a strong dedication to the law and show loyalty to the social contract and the feelings of others. A robust moral compass is considered a vital qualification to work near SCP-567, lest they become simply one more victim added to its long list of tortured penitents. The Foundation has encountered many anomalies over the years that could pose a danger to the organization itself. SCP-567 is no exception. Untold numbers of Foundation operatives have committed terrible acts in the service of the greater good. They have lied, stolen, and even killed in order to protect and contain the secrets locked away in files and behind heavily guarded walls. A great deal of caution should be used when dealing with the dungeon, no matter how justified a person thinks their past sins might be. After all, there's no chance to plead your innocence, and the very prison that plans to hold you is also the judge, jury, and executioner.
If I go into
the old house has been abandoned for going
and
on
then
2 decades.
go back into
and as with any place that's been left uninhabited for this long,
well, look at
rumors
this.
tend to spiral. Of course, there are the
Yeah.
more mundane explanations
I
for
can
why
literally
a
just
2-story,
join
4-bedroom home on the end of a nice street
Because,
lays
like-
in semi-ruin. Black
What?
mold, asbestos, rising house prices. But those weren't the
It's
stories that
so
most
dark.
people told.
I can't. Okay, there.
Everyone in the neighborhood knew what really happened. All those years ago, the family that lived there had been murdered, and their killer was never caught. The 3 young paranormal investigators, with EMF readers in their hands and GoPro cameras mounted on their hard hats, know all about this. They approach the house in the dead of night, mumbling commentary for the recordings. If the old house really is as haunted as everyone says it is, then they could be in for something really good here. Their subscribers always loved brand new paranormal content. They use a crowbar to breach the front door and head inside. It's everything you can expect from a house that had been abandoned for 17 years. Dust, cobwebs, and graffiti abound, broken bottles scattered across the floor. Someone has scrawled, "Welcome to Hell," above the door in faded Sharpie. It all plays perfectly for the cameras. Paranormal content gold. All of them turn on their flashlights, generously provided to them by one of their sponsors, of course. But in this particular situation, they have no idea just how valuable their product really is. After all, there are some frightening things that hide in the dark. The leader of the trio begins ascending the stairs, narrating into his helmet cam, giving the more popular version of the house's legend. The perfect suburban family, torn apart, literally, by a killer hiding in their home. The family had all been brutally murdered by someone in their home, but the police never found any sign of unlawful entrance or
yeah,
exit.
I
There
forgot.
were no clues to the killer's presence whatsoever, in fact.
Again.
It was as if they
Yeah,
were a
wait.
ghost, a
If I
vapor.
wait for
It was
2
almost as though whoever killed the family had always
like,
been in that
when it
house,
gets
and
to
even after the
2
murders were committed, they never left the place either. As he tells the story, the lead investigator starts to feel a little nervous. Even though he himself doesn't really believe in the supernatural, he just plays up reactions for the views, he still can't help but wonder, should I really be here? Am I making a terrible mistake? Is there a chance that whatever did this all those years ago could still be in the house, waiting for me? But he pushes those thoughts from his mind. This gig is too valuable for him to wimp out now. And really, what are the chances that something actually dangerous would be lurking in the house? The other 2 investigators are still looking around downstairs, sticking together, their flashlight beams slicing through the darkness. Their boss always insists on going upstairs first. He demands the glory shot, after all. That leaves the rest of them searching the downstairs living room, dining room, and kitchen, where the best they can hope for is maybe a particularly haunted-looking dishwasher. It's why the younger of the 2 is so surprised when they suddenly feel something happening to their body that they've never experienced before. In an instant, their whole body convulses with an involuntary shudder. They feel the temperature drop, and the world gets just that little bit darker. The best way they can describe the feeling is impending doom. Like any moment now, something...
Jump in my new EV with me. I found it on cars.com.
Go ahead. Crank the volume. We got you. USB-S.
Something terrible is going to happen. But almost as soon as the feeling begins, it's gone. Intensity dropping. The dread starting to dissipate, as though whoever or whatever caused this feeling literally passed right through them. Their fellow investigator asks them if they're okay. Of course, they nod and force a smile. They're fine. It's just a spooky place is all. Atmosphere like this would get to anyone. Meanwhile, the lead investigator is exactly where he wants to be, ascending a rickety stepladder up into the attic, the very same attic where, all those years ago, the police had found what was left of the family. And from everything he'd read on the subject, their remains weren't a pretty sight, even by true crime enthusiast standards. He enters the attic and shines his flashlight around, capturing all the dusty old boxes left to rot in the cold. He's engrossed in the macabre spectacle of what had once been the worst and final moments of a group of strangers' very real lives. The attic is full of spider webs and shadows. They're so ubiquitous that as the lead investigator pauses to tell his camera the next chapter of the grisly tale, he doesn't even notice one of the shadows peeling off of the wall behind him. It wafts silently towards him like a gust of midnight air. Little by little, the blob of shadow starts to take on a vaguely human shape. It leans forward in the investigator's direction, arms extended like a classic movie monster. Long, dark claws slide out of its shadowy hands. Downstairs, the other two investigators hear the most terrible scream. For a moment, the more fantastical thought crosses their minds. Could this be one of the tormented souls of the departed family, longing to be heard after years of silence? Then it occurs to them that they recognize the scream. It belongs to their boss. The two of them charge up the stairs, flashlights in hand, as the screaming starts to become more desperate than pained, like that of a wounded animal with its leg caught in a trap. Those terrible wails are echoing down from the open hatch leading into the attic. It's so dark up there, something must have broken his flashlight. That's when they notice something else. Red, dripping from the open hatch. For a moment, they hesitate, wondering what could be going on up there. Could they really help, or would they just be running into the danger themselves? But soon, their desire to save their boss's life overpowers their fear. They grab the ladder and start climbing, feeling the dripping blood on the worn wooden rungs. When they finally get up into the attic, it feels like the scream is coming from everywhere, bouncing off the walls in a terrible echo of all this terror. And when they see it, they can't help but scream too. The lead investigator's body is floating about a foot off the ground, his screams now fading into pained gurgles. Something huge and dark is lifting him up with one hand and sinking the long, dark claws of its other into his neck. The second the twin flashlight beams concentrate on the creature, it drops the lead investigator's bleeding body down onto the ground. His skin slate gray, his feeble twitching slowing to a halt as the last of his life drains from him. Two glowing red pinpricks open up in the face of the dark figure, eyes like terrible, burning coals etching themselves into their memory. Like smoke, it continues to glide backwards further, seeking refuge in the dark, a safe haven amongst the other shadows. By this point, the two at the exit. They don't for them with awful fury. The shadow creature grabs at their heads as they make their final leap for the exit. However, all the monster can pull away are their helmets and helmet cams as they scramble down the ladder and then down the stairs, running at speeds they didn't even think possible as the shadow slithers down behind them. It hits their shoulder and sees the shadow leave the house, gaining on them. It's getting closer and closer and closer. Ignition. The car starts up at nightmare, a terrible, dark ghost. As it finally disappears, they feel a moment of safety, but really, only a moment, because it occurs to them then that they cannot say with any confidence that this monster won't just be waiting for them when they get home. SCP-280, also known as Eyes in the Dark, is one of the more frightening and dangerous anomalies contained by the SCP Foundation. Of course, it likely won't be causing an XK-class end-of-the-world scenario anytime soon, but if you happen to run into this nocturnal monster, it's likely to cause an end-of-you scenario and remove you from the world with extreme prejudice. There's no way of telling just how many lives it claimed before the SCP Foundation finally got it into containment, and perhaps it's best to just not think about that. SCP-280 is a black wraith-like apparition that floats at roughly average human height, with no visible legs or feet, as the lower portion of its body simply fades away before it reaches the ground. In its dormant state, the entity may appear to be little more than a shadow, easily dismissed, especially in dark environments. This comes as a natural result of the being's frightening ability to become intangible at will, and only become physical when it enters a state of active aggression toward a human target. In this intangible state, victims have
Goodman, crafting cleaning tools since 1896.
As loved members of our family, we want our cats to be happy. If your cat sprays outside the litter box or fights with other cats,
Victims have even been known to walk through the shadowy mass by accident. While this doesn't lead to any detrimental physical effects, victims report that being inside the creature can lead to heightened states of anxiety, fear, and dread. Despite its body being wholly composed of an unidentifiable black matter, when exposed to light, the creature does begin to express a pair of glowing dots on its head similar to eyes, hence its frightening nickname. However, all tests indicate that these eyes aren't actually functional. Instead, they appear to be a kind of defensive measure, like false eyes on the carapace of an insect. These eyes are never shown when SCP-280 is advancing towards a victim, only when it is in retreat, though this is only one of the entity's several defensive responses. If an area where the creature is residing becomes fully illuminated, or a sudden flash of extremely bright light is directed against it, then it will immediately dematerialize and appear in a different area. The one positive thing that can be said about the hunting patterns of SCP-280 is that they're relatively predictable. The entity, it seems, only has an interest in human beings. When it selects a target, it will pursue them relentlessly, approaching in its intangible form with its arms extended in what many describe as a sleepwalker pose. In this state, you may finally notice 280's claws, long, thin, and razor sharp. It may silently approach while the victim is turned the other way, or while they sleep soundly in bed, or even when they're paralyzed in fear at the very sight of it. When SCP-280 closes the distance, it will begin to rip and tear at its victims with its claws, causing massive physical trauma and, in some cases, death. Attacks range from 1 to 5 minutes of being relentlessly clawed at by the beast. When the attack is over, it will simply expose its eyes, become intangible once more, and escape. You will not be able to overpower the creature. Foundation tests have shown that it has extreme physical strength, and it's capable of tearing apart solid steel with little effort. If it can't find any humans to victimize, then it will simply remain dormant, pressing itself up against a wall, in a dark corner, or within some other structure. Which is why, if ever you feel nervous about a certain dark corner in a room near you, it is best to remove yourself from the situation as quickly as possible and remain in a brightly lit area. It would perhaps be comforting to believe that SCP-280 is acting on some twisted form of animal instinct. After all, while the results may seem horrific to us, every organism has to eat, right? Well, sadly, that isn't the case here. SCP-280 does not appear to eat, sleep, or breathe to survive, and it never consumes any of the matter torn from its victims. The best working theory is that the entity simply enjoys the harm it causes, taking a degree of perverse pleasure in hunting down and murdering its targets. There is no better nature to appeal to here. The SCP Foundation's ability to study the creature's biology has also been stunted, in part due to the creature's highly aggressive nature, and also the fact that its selective intangibility makes gaining physical samples almost impossible. Even capturing and containing the creature in the first place came partially out of blind luck. It first came to Foundation attention after a series of mysterious locked-door murders in a small Mississippi township. In the most recent case, an entire family had been brutally murdered in their home, leaving only one survivor. A traumatized 9-year-old boy named David, who'd locked himself in the basement when he started to hear the screaming. He was so terrified by the things he saw that night that he remained in a catatonic state for weeks afterwards, completely unresponsive to outside stimulus. But one little detail saved his life. A flashlight was clasped in his white-knuckle grip, shining a bright beam of cold, white light onwards. When David was removed and placed into medical care, officers began searching the building for any kind of clues as to how the other 4 family members were murdered. However, during this investigation, the police were just as vulnerable as the victims who'd been so recently slain. While one officer was wandering around the attic, looking for any evidence they may have missed, SCP-280 emerged from the darkness and attacked, tearing into his body with its long, deadly claws. Luckily for the officer in question, he survived the incident, though he was badly wounded. His report on the matter, including the ardent claim that he was attacked by a being, quote, made from black smoke, caught the attention of SCP Foundation operatives embedded in the precinct. They soon took over the investigation and descended on the house, hoping to tag and bag whatever had been behind all these deaths. This would be easier said than done. While Foundation field agents canvassed the home, they simply walked past the creature multiple times, discounting it as a mere shadow. After all, it only had these easily identifiable glowing eyes when it was in a retreating position. Even when it entered its physical state, operatives brushing up against it generally dismissed the sensation as hair, clothing, or some other object touching them in the dark. This already bungled investigation got even worse when the Foundation decided to introduce high-intensity lights into the equation, hopefully
Get a Planet Fitness flat card for $1 down, $24.99 a month.
My IT team gets pulled into problems all day, and then I get pulled in too.
flushing the creature out. This, of course, only caused it to dematerialize and appear elsewhere. The chase ended in an almost farcical fashion, a cavalcade of Foundation agents chasing a cloud of sneering black smoke across a Mississippi field at 2:30 a.m. Thankfully for the human race, the entity was, at the very least, eventually secured and contained. However, this wouldn't be the last time it was out of containment. During a series of tests with different types of illumination, intending to test SCP-280's reflexes, it disappeared from its chamber. It seemed almost to sink through the different levels of the illuminated site before coming to rest at the containment chamber holding SCP-1591. This made for a fascinating accidental cross-test. You see, SCP-1591, to put it simply, is a unique sculpture of a star that emits an incredibly bright light, and this light will slowly make any being subject to its glow intangible before disappearing completely. When SCP-280 came before SCP-1591, it displayed its eyes, but did not retreat. In fact, it assumed a kneeling position and simply remained before the anomalous sculpture until it faded from existence. It then remanifested in its own containment chamber several hours later without incident. All things considered, it went pretty well as far as containment breaches involving deadly, human-hating monsters go. Because of its ability to demanifest and phase through solid objects, SCP-280 is incredibly difficult to contain, earning it the dreaded Keter object class. In order to avoid the risk of demanifestation, SCP-280 is contained in a 5x5 meter cell that is perpetually left in a state of total darkness. No equipment is to be left in the cell unsupervised at any time, and any items brought into the cell for testing must be removed when the testing is complete. Any staff members entering the chamber for tests must be equipped with infrared goggles, an infrared ID strobe, and also a strong flashlight to ward the creature off in the case that it becomes aggressive. If SCP-280 does attempt to attack anyone in the chamber, all attending staff are instructed to turn on their flashlights and turn the beams against the creature. No aggressive action is permitted, and staff members must remain at least 1 meter away from SCP-280 at all times for their own safety. And if you suddenly feel yourself getting a little nervous in an eerily dark room, I'd like you to remember this. The one thing more frightening than seeing eyes in the dark is not seeing them. The hitman pulls back the hammer of his Beretta with his thumb. The suppressor screwed into the barrel will help muffle the terrible crime he's about to commit. They're in the middle of the forest, his victim on his knees in front of him, his hands bound behind his back. The victim is spewing out excuses and feeble pleas for mercy at a mile a minute, but the hitman remains firm, aiming his handgun at the back of the victim's head. The victim owes his boss a great deal of money, but the hitman can't remember all the details. All he knows is what he needs to do. Bang, bang, bang. 3 clean shots turned into cracks by the suppressor. His victim slumps forward, dead. It's time for the hitman to go home. The job isn't as glamorous as it is in the movies. He lives alone in a relatively small apartment. Most nights, he doesn't sleep well. He has nightmares. He sees every face he sent a bullet through every time he closes his eyes. So, to make himself feel better, he watches his comfort movies with a bowl of microwaved SpaghettiOs. He's been through his DVD collection 1,000 times. None of it has the punch it used to. But he's still got a working VCR, so there's no harm in fishing through the old pile of VHS tapes he keeps in his closet. That's where he finds his well-worn childhood copy of Forrest Gump. It used to be his mom's favorite movie. Perhaps it'll help him sleep tonight. He slots the VHS into the VCR. All the memories are flooding back to him now. He watched this movie so many times as a kid. It's a miracle that he didn't entirely wear the tape out. He's ready to lose himself in the film as he watches Forrest in his white suit sitting on that iconic park bench. The hitman smiles, ready to speak along to the movie's most famous line, "Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get." But when Forrest says the line, it's "Life was like a box of chocolates." Was. How strange. He doesn't remember the line being like that. It's life is like a box of chocolates, not life was, right? You wouldn't think such a tiny misquote would bother a man who kills people for the mafia for a living, but it does. This mistake feels so oddly pivotal to his understanding of the film, and therefore, to his understanding of himself. It feels like having a bucket of cold water poured out onto his head. He watches the rest of the movie, but something is off. He feels almost like Forrest Gump himself knows he's been watching. And scarier still, he's watching back. What happened to this nostalgic childhood classic? Over the next week, as he executes more deadbeats and poor unfortunate souls on behalf of his shadowy bosses, he just can't stop thinking about that line. Life was like a box of chocolates. There's something wrong about it, something so terribly wrong. How can he shoot a man dead without losing his appetite? But thinking about Forrest Gump is making his hands shake. He watches the movie every night. Some nights, he watches it more than once, instead of sleeping or showering. Every time he watches it, it feels just a little more uncanny. This movie used to fill him with joy and hope. It made him see the beauty in the world. But now he sees the darkness hiding underneath the surface. Every time he watches, he feels a growing suspicion towards the Forrest Gump character. Every so often, Forrest looks directly at the camera, staring out at the hitman, and smiling. The hitman is sleeping even less now. He gets this feeling that something terrible is going to happen.
My room's genuinely trash right now. "20 more minutes and then I'm finally done, guys."
Eve to me is
Oh,
basically freedom. It's a
it has been
giant open
3
universe
hours,
where you
I'm
can
pretty
do
sure,
whatever you
streaming.
want.
3.
It's funny. Normally he's the terrible thing that happens to people. A few nights later, he's in the forest again, with another pleading victim on his knees in front of him. They all blur together eventually, but tonight, something is different. There's a certain chill in the air. The gun feels a little heavier in his hand. He presses the suppressed Beretta against the back of his victim's head and prepares to pull the trigger when he hears a twig snap. The hitman looks up, worried, and sees someone else standing in the forest, peeking out from behind the tree. A witness, but not just any witness. A familiar face. Is that? No, it can't be. Is that Forrest Gump? Before he can orient himself, his victim gets up and runs for it. The hitman is snapped free of his stupor, and Forrest Gump is gone. In a blind panic, he runs after the victim fleeing through the forest. He draws a bead on the victim's back and fires, sending a bullet through him and dropping him to the ground. He catches up shortly after that and finishes him off. He finished the job, but he can't shake the terrified feeling of what happened. He could swear he saw Forrest Gump in the forest, watching him. And that can only mean one of two things. Either he's being stalked, or he's losing his mind entirely. His obsession with the film gets worse after that. He'll spend whole days just watching it again and again, back to back, trying to find the secrets that must be buried somewhere within. Sadly for him, all he finds each time is more dread. He comes to believe that the movie is truly evil, that it contains some kind of entity that is more than human, more cruel, more terrible, and more powerful. Could this have been what he saw in the woods? At night, he hears noises, footsteps in the hallway outside the apartment, and then outside his bedroom. Once upon a time, he would have worried that he's been monitored by the city's police or agents from the FBI. Now, he's worried that he's being watched by something different altogether. He starts sleeping with his gun under his pillow. It's the only way he can feel anything close to safe with that thing out there, looking for him, hunting him. But if it came for him, would bullets even be able to stop it? The hitman stops going to work. He doesn't feel safe outside his apartment anymore. His bosses are confused, perhaps even a little concerned, worried that maybe their best hired gun has gone federal. But no, he's gone insane. But that doesn't mean he isn't right. He rarely changes out of his pajamas. He's tired, jittery, filthy, with a scraggly beard growing out of his chin. All he does these days is rewatch the movie. He thinks that if he watches it enough, he'll find some way to stop this terrible feeling he's been going through. But maybe it's making it worse, deepening his obsession. In every scene, he can feel Forrest Gump watching him through the screen. He always gives an evil grin, the same one he sometimes sees through his bedroom window in the middle of the night. Life was like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. That's when he hears the door to his apartment open behind him. He grips his gun and rises to his feet. He can feel that a terrifying presence has entered the apartment. He needs to fight this thing, or he's going to die. He runs out into the hall of his apartment, ready to take on the threat head on. He wants to put a stop to the monster that has been making his life hell for all of these weeks. But the second he sees the figure standing in the shadows, he freezes up. It's him. It's the one and only Forrest Gump, wearing a terrifying evil smirk like a hungry predator. The hitman raises his gun and fires at the impossible intruder, but the bullets seem to have no effect. Gump lunges forward quickly and smashes the gun out of the hitman's hand with an effortless slap. All the hitman can do is turn and run, fleeing down the hallway into his bedroom and locking himself in. Bang, bang, bang. He can feel Gump smashing his fists against the door. The hitman covers his ears, huddles next to his bed, and cries. He's never been this terrified before, not even as a child. Then the door shatters into splinters, and Gump, full of fury, enters. In what could be his dying moments, the hitman's animal brain takes over. He turns and tries to run, but Gump is far too fast. He rushes up, grabs the hitman by his shoulder from behind, and forces him down onto his knees. The hitman can't move. Gump is holding him in place, iron-like.
7 days.
Gump clenches his spare fist, lifts it up, and brings it down onto the back of the hitman's head with monstrous force. He will be found dead later that day.
Oh, okay.
Crime
now
scene cameras flash, capturing the grisly scene in the hitman's former apartment. The hitman's body is rolled onto a gurney and covered with a white sheet, rolled out of his apartment before decay can set in and destroy potentially valuable evidence. The lead detective on the scene is baffled by this whole setup.
Dreamed it on.
Find your next
But that would be only
on cars.com.
one day.
Where to next?
Quick
I know these 2 different days. It was just the
question. How old were you when you got your first social media account? Some people are just now learning about lawsuits involving social media platforms. And if you meet these 3 things, you might qualify for possible financial compensation. First, you used Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, Facebook, or YouTube between the ages of 8 and 18. Second, you were on those apps 3 or more hours per day. Third, you experienced mental health harm like anxiety, depression, or eating disorders and received treatment for it.
I was just listening to that.
He's been aware of the hitman and his gang ties for years, but this death doesn't look like your typical gangland hit. After all, he'd been brutally bludgeoned to death. If he'd been done in by his fellow gangsters, he probably would have just been shot. There was no physical evidence of a forced entry or exit from the hitman's killer. Some of the hitman's neighbors had heard a handgun being discharged, but there is no blood from anyone other than the hitman on the scene. Just spent shell casings and a few bullet holes in the wall. Strange. Would an experienced hitman fire that many times and miss his target with every single shot? Whoever took him out must have been truly dangerous. The detective does what he can, searching through the hitman's possessions while the CSI team strips down the rooms, hoping to find the piece of telltale evidence that could implicate the hitman's mysterious killer. The detective can't help but notice how filthy the apartment is. It looks like it hasn't been cleaned in weeks, a sharp contrast to the hitman's history of sharp, clean murders. It's the apartment of a man who knew someone was coming for him. But who? The detective just can't seem to piece it together. But during the search, the detective happens upon something that catches his eye, an old VHS copy of Forrest Gump. How strange. Who has a working VCR these days? The detective looks closer and sees that the VHS and its case are covered in smeared, dirty fingerprints. He's been watching this, or at least handling it, a lot. Maybe it's some vector for secret messages between him and his employers. Perhaps it has some unknown meaning. Maybe some illicit crime has been recorded over the movie. He bags the VHS as evidence and takes it back to the precinct, where his men rustle up a VCR and organize an impromptu screening. The detective is eager for a break in the case, but as the tape plays, it just seems to be Forrest Gump. The detective is extremely confused. There doesn't seem to be anything wrong with the tape. Did the hitman just completely lose his mind by the time he was murdered? The The detective's attention is jogged by one line, spoken by Forrest as he sits on the bench. Life was like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. Wait, that's not the line. Wasn't the line, life is like a box of chocolates? Later that night, the detective is lying in bed, unable to sleep. Somehow, it isn't the mystery of the hitman's murder that's keeping him awake. It's that one strange, misremembered line from Forrest Gump. He just can't get it out of his head. The only thing that draws his attention away is the sound of footsteps outside in the middle of the night. The detective snaps to attention, grabs his service weapon from his bedside cabinet, and creeps downstairs. He steps out of his house and into his backyard, now completely alert. The yard is mostly bathed in darkness, save for the little island of light formed by his porch light. Still, he sees something moving in the dark and levels his gun. He calls out, saying he's with the police, that it would be an extremely bad idea to try anything.
I got 10
There's no
minutes,
response.
guys. 10
In a panic, the detective flees back into his home. Maybe
done.
this has something to do with the hitman's murder. Perhaps the perpetrators are trying to intimidate him into dropping the investigation. He'd call backup. He'd get some kind of assistance. But what the detective doesn't know is that it's already too late. He hears a noise outside again and looks up to see a face pressed up against his window. It's Forrest Gump, grinning maniacally. He reels back his head and slams it into the glass, sending cracks crawling out into every direction. He slams again and again and again. Before the detective can even react, the window is shattered, and Forrest Gump is climbing into his home with a single-minded, murderous purpose. It all murdered, even by the standards of the entities and phenomena researched by the SCP Foundation. But we assure you that if you ever find yourself afflicted with SCP-5346, what was once a bizarre little case study could become a horrifying reality. Not a great deal is known about the mechanics of how exactly SCP-5346 operates, due to the rarity and obscurity of cases. But what we do know is that it affects people who view a certain scene in the beloved 1994 movie Forrest Gump, starring Tom Hanks as the titular lead character. The anomaly has a particular effect on those with an obsessive nature or people whose occupations involve needing to focus intensely on films, such as professional film critics. The scene in the film that appears to be the vector for infection is the one where Forrest is sitting on a park bench with a box of chocolates and opines that his mama always told
The Planet Fitness Black Card. Access any location, bring a friend anytime, and recover in the Black Card Spa.
No. Yes,
You
Wobble
wanted
Wad.
3 kinds of jalapeno in your
No!
Whopper? You got it. Try the loaded jalapeno Whopper today.
always told him, life was like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. The first sign of infection is that the person viewing the scene will immediately feel confused, believing the quote to be, life is like a box of chocolates, not life was like a box of chocolates, as the character actually says. This is often thought to be a case of the Mandela effect, a common and harmless phenomenon where people report having false memories of prior events, such as misremembering a quote or believing a certain actor or public figure is dead when they're actually alive, or vice versa. However, if this incident is an actual moment of SCP-5346 infection, then the victim is in for a far more unpleasant experience. They will first report an obsessive desire to re-watch the film, watching it again and again, and each time noticing more inconsistencies between the film's reality and their memories of watching it. This will initially just seem strange, but as the condition progresses, it will take a turn for the unsettling. They will feel as though the Gump character is a malevolent force who's somehow watching them through the screen, displaying his own independent intelligence and a strong desire to harm the viewer. If the Foundation hasn't intercepted the case at this stage, it will get even worse. The victim will begin to see an individual with a remarkable resemblance to Forrest Gump, stalking them in the real world, getting closer and more threatening by the day. The victim will eventually be found dead of extreme blunt force trauma to the cranium. How exactly they receive this blunt force trauma is unknown. The Foundation's discovery of this particular anomalous phenomenon began with a small thread of posts on the infamous Parawatch forums, a website dedicated to conspiracy theorists and paranormal enthusiasts of all stripes. The Foundation keeps